Back again for another Patreon upload. So this one is on a film that everybody very quickly forgot about because it was absolutely dreadful. This was a Patreon exclusive. This was never released officially on the Simplecast or anywhere else. This was a Patreon-only episode on the film Six Underground. So I wasn't on this episode. I'd heard about it. Yeah, this is, I think, the first time that Film Rescue ever failed to fix a film. This was the first time. And I don't think it was the only time. I think there was one other where we couldn't find a way to fix it. But yeah, this was one of the worst movies that's ever been covered on Film Rescue. People collectively agreed it was bad. I'd heard about the production of this. This was on Six Underground. It was released on Netflix. A Michael Bay movie, so instantly you just know that my opinion is just instantly in the tubes because I'm not a Michael Bay fan. I do not like his style. And a lot of people on the show were really angry at him because of his Transformers movies, and they were just an assault on cinema. And just, yeah, man, it just this movie is. I don't think I ever even finished watching it. I think I made it halfway through, and I just kind of just said, "Yeah, I've had enough," and I clicked it off. I don't know what the thought process was behind the movie. It's edited out of order. Characters enter and leave the movie with no explanation. It's not very well shot. It's ugly. The editing's bad. It's sloppy. The story makes no sense. Characters don't really have arcs. This was a Ryan Reynolds action vehicle, and yet it feels like it's completely miscast in every single department. There's so little positive in this movie, to the point where I think even Michael Bay kind of disowned this thing. I really couldn't tell you what the thought process was. Oh boy, this one's bad. This is a really bad one, but it's a fun Film Rescue. You get to hear the boys fail. we all failed. I think this is before my time of joining the show. It was right after this, I think I joined the show. But yeah, you get to hear the guys fail for the first time because they're just like, they just throw their arms and then they go, fuck it, we don't know what to do, and no one knew what to do. The movie just kind of peters out and they have no way of ending it. So yeah, enjoy the first failure. Enjoy listen to the guys chat about the film Six Underground. God be with you. Enjoy.
This is the new and improved Film Rescue Show.
Now with 50% less fat.
Well, for now, probably even losing more. We're also starting Season 3. This is the first episode of Season 3 of the Film Rescue Show. I am your Pitch Master General, Seth. I'm joined by Brandon and Devin, my trusty lieutenants in rewriting.
Fellow sufferees.
I'm claiming the Pitch Master General for this season.
I might just be a sergeant. I'm not sure. I didn't read the fine print, but thank you.
It all comes from the Comedy Central roasts and the Roast Master General. I was like, okay, but Pitch Master General, that's a good title. I'm taking that one. And I'm also taking the first pitch of the year because fuck you, it's my show. And we're going to do probably the most fuck you movie we could do. Six Underground, directed by the man, the myth, the legend. Probably a cryptid at this point. Who knows? Michael Bay.
Named after a Sneaker Pip song from the mid-90s.
I need a photo.
That's the best pitch, is that Michael Bay is secretly a cryptid trying to appear as a human.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all.
There's more mysteries in how
you
Pain
looked
and
at
Gain
that
was
man?
made than if Mothman is real or not. Also,
honestly, he looks like every time I look at him, I think this dude stepped into our world late 80s, early 90s, and then never did a recheck on what the world was like. Just stayed right there.
Yeah.
Just was like, I downloaded the program. That's where we're staying.
Michael Bay in The Matrix looks just like Michael Bay out of The Matrix.
Oh, God.
Yeah, yep.
I think Tommy Wiseau probably came from the same source but was defective.
It's the same software, but there was a bug.
Oh, yeah.
And it just
Big
glitched. Yeah, so guys, we got a early Christmas present with this one,
We'll go with that.
and I watched
Yeah.
it.
Pair of friggin' tube socks.
I did get a lot of socks for Christmas, but I'm at
I mean,
that age where I enjoy
honestly,
them.
I think
Yeah,
tube
that's fair.
socks would have been better.
Yes.
I definitely would have rather tube socks. At least they're comfy.
So I'm pretty sure on record saying that I generally like Michael Bay's movies. Generally, I've got his filmography up here.
Yeah.
I can go 4 deep before I say I don't like one. And 2 of these
Yeah.
are in the Criterion Collection. As
Which
a reminder,
There-
For the last 2 decades, I've had questions about that. Because it was the late 90s, and I came out on DVD. Armageddon and The Rock.
Yep.
I'm like, okay.
and I like both of those. And
Yeah.
and I like Bad Boys.
I mean,
and-
for earlier directorial works, they're not bad, but, that's not a bad place to start.
Yeah.
But get better from there?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Pearl Harbor weirdly invented sex. I didn't know sex didn't exist before Pearl Harbor. I'm sorry. The drapes in the airplane hangar sex scene that I think is either the end of the first VHS or the
Oh,
beginning of the
man.
second VHS.
Oh, my God.
I can't remember where that
I-
lands.
The fact that
I
you
will-
have to
listen.
go by where it was on the VHS.
To start the year off right and plug Patrick Willems, his We Hard Hartnett podcast has a lot to say about that scene. And if you haven't listened to it, you definitely should because it is fantastic and they don't stop bringing it up the entire episode. So
You said We Heart Harnett?
We Heart
We
Hartnett.
Hard Hartnett,
They did all of his movies,
That's
right?
hilarious.
every one of them.
And now
I
they're-
listened to.
now they're
and
going
I
through,
think I
Keanu
listened to the
Reeves.
entire thing.
Yeah, that was
Ah.
also to double plug Patrick Willems. You're welcome, Pat. He did a deep dive on Michael Bay's films. I think a 2-parter.
Yes,
That's
he
fair.
did. Yes, he did.
Um,
Why is he not on this episode? Just like that's how the year should have started off. But
He doesn't answer my emails anymore because we tried to fix The Last Jedi.
oh,
And how that film
Yeah,
continues to divide.
that one's gonna cause us some troubles, I think.
I don't. Okay. Different Jesse, not Jesse Man of Steel Jesse, but Jesse Time Travel Podcast Jesse. Almost lost him as a guest when he saw that in the lineup because he thought we were going to be like one of those Last Jedi people, and he was like, "So, I see this in your list. Can you just briefly tell me like what the issues were?" And I was like, "Oh no, we really liked it. We just had a couple little reshuffles we wanted to do to make it better." And he was like, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, promise. We try to like the movies that we watch.
Yeah.
I picked this one
Yeah.
because I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Just
Listen, like there are a lot of elements here that this could have been a great movie.
True.
It was not handled correctly at all.
Yeah.
No.
well, let me finish going through his filmography. I do genuinely like Pearl Harbor. I know it's a little messy. I do like it. Bad Boys 2 is the first one that I'm like, ooh, okay. But then he followed it up with The Island, which is basically like futuristic, well-made Logan's Run. Not saying Logan's Run isn't well-made, but like,
Yeah. You mean like modernized?
yeah,
like,
modernized.
looking.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
The Island was good. Transformers. I like the first one. I don't like any of the subsequent ones, including Bumblebee.
Ooh.
I know Devin.
Oh, you didn't like Bumblebee?
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I did hear pretty good things, especially compared to.
I mean,
the
okay,
mainline
I know
series.
Before
why-
we jump into this, I want to be clear. I didn't think Bumblebee was a fantastic movie.
Yo, yeah.
I just thought for a Transformers movie, for like the difficulty of creating a Transformers movie, it was solid and enjoyable.
So I know
That's kind of my take on it.
I know why everyone liked it so much more than the others. One sentence. You can understand what is happening on the screen at all times.
What a concept for a film.
The finale takes place on an antenna. Like, it's very vertical. You know exactly where everyone and everything is. It is a comprehensible film. And like in general, I didn't hate it, but I was just like, I think they went small, and I wish they had gone smaller.
So you see, he does a better job when he produces.
Yeah.
than
Oh
when he
yeah.
directs.
And that will
For
come up.
further evidence.
That will come up more as we go. Yeah. Also, I really liked Pain and Gain. I think that's the last movie in his list that I really enjoyed. But I really liked Pain and Gain because everyone involved, I think, kind of knew that like Michael Bay's machoism as a tone was the best way to go about the shitty story. Because it's based on a real story about really, really shitty people.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So it was kind of the best vehicle for it. Probably one of my top 10 laugh out loud moments in the theater is they cut off a guy's hand and hide it in a grill as a cop approaches, because they've kidnapped some guy to make ransom because they're dumb guys that are big and they're trying to make money. Really, that's the whole story. They're just great big dummies. So they put this hand in a barbecue and like light it on fire to burn up the evidence. And then the movie, and this is like an hour and a half in, the movie stops, drops a title card in and goes, "This is still based on a real story." And the word "still" just destroyed me. Like I don't know what happened for the next 3 minutes of that movie, because I was like, this is still based on a true story. That's the best joke of 2013. Anyways, that's my history with Michael Bay until now. That's the story so far.
The story so far.
Guys, what do we think of Six Underground?
The words "a hot mess" are entry level compared to what this movie was.
Yeah.
My Letterboxd review said, "Oh, it's a Just Cause movie."
I mean, you're not wrong.
There's this video game called Just Cause. There's like 4 of them at this point. And
to sum up like this whole movie, we could just go to the introduction of our original, like our characters, to every character being described by their job.
Yeah.
Except the one guy who runs being called a Skywalker.
Yeah. That was a choice.
Yeah.
That was made.
Like,
Yeah.
He was like, thief isn't cool enough. We need something better. And it can't be anything that anybody has called these people before. What do we call them?
As if...
Oh, let's make it sound like he's part of a circus act.
Yeah, as if free runner isn't like a good enough term.
Yeah.
They were
It's
like...
people forget that's what you call those who practice parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys remember when parkour was cool?
Parkour!
That was a time in America that I'd like to go back to. Devin, got a question for you.
Yes. Okay.
Based on this film, what should the opening scene have been?
Oh man. Do you want the pitch that's like this opening scene would make the rest of this film semi good, or if I was making this film well, this is the opening scene I would do?
If this movie
Because
were Legos and you could like resort the blocks of scenes, which Lego piece should have been the opening scene of this film? Because let me tell you something, it's not the Italy heist.
No.
Nope.
Which felt like a finale.
Yeah.
I said that to Sarah. I was like, this has been going on for almost 20 minutes. This feels like the finale of another movie.
Yeah.
Okay. In all honesty, especially because you've got freaking Ryan Reynolds, and you can just go as fourth wall, like crazy as you want to, I would have made it the freaking pool scene where they bust the pool open and everybody's getting washed out of the building.
Oh yeah.
I would have just started there and then literally stopped halfway through as people are about to die, and have him start like
Record
that
scratch.
classic line of like,
So you're
hey,
probably wondering
how
how
we
I
got
got
here.
here.
Exactly. Like for the Lego blocks that is this movie, that feels like the most accurate starting place of anything else in it.
So we'll get into the rewrite's going to be sprinkled in through here, because genuinely, I think I could re-edit this movie into a better movie.
Probably. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
I feel like so many fan edits improve films.
Yeah.
Like that, it reinforces the old saying of, a film isn't really finished, or a film is made in the editing room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's the case with this film too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I haven't looked at who the editor of this film is. I don't want to slander their name in public, but and I'm just gonna assume Michael Bay had like final edit.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna push this off on him.
I mean, how often does Netflix go, no, we have Final Cut? I have a theory that Netflix probably allows filmmakers to have a little more say. I could be wrong though.
So, and Devin, you hit the nail right on the head. They picked Ryan Reynolds for a reason.
Yeah.
And the reason was not because we need a snarky main lead in a Michael Bay movie. That goes without saying.
Yes.
They picked him because of his like reference and closeness to meta media, and not just Deadpool. Go back to that man's career. He's been talking to the camera since he was in college in a National Lampoon movie.
Yes.
That's his brand.
Yeah.
And I that's why I was into it. I was like, oh, okay, like a fourth wall-ish Michael Bay movie. Okay, I could get into this.
Although you'll notice, I even said this last night. It's like the tone of his voice actually sounds different between the scenes on set and the scenes that he recorded for the narration.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the narration sounds like he's heading into Deadpool territory.
Yep.
And he sounded almost more comfortable in the voiceovers than he did in the film. It was almost like two different characters. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
So
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Ryan Reynolds is just too hot to be a voice actor. And that's why he's not in his like realm. Fucking put that man in an anime, please. Please let him do the English dub to something. God damn it.
City Hunter. We'll go with that.
So yeah, chronologically, let me break it down. I was very confused throughout this film.
Good, it wasn't just me.
Like, I was very confused.
Whose eyeball is this again?
Why was the eyeball necessary? And also, the scenes where it lost me were the scenes where it wasn't made apparent that we were flashing back. And I was like, wait, weren't they just... What?
Yep.
Where are we right now?
I mean, you can have a movie that's chronologically screwed and still work.
Yeah.
Because, especially if it's intentional. I mean, it's been a thing for decades. Look at Rashomon.
Right.
But just do it well.
Yeah.
Make sure that you've locked in your audience.
Right.
If you're already doing that like 20 times within the first 15 minutes, no. The ship has sailed and I missed the boat.
Right.
So.
Because, like, Devin, explain why you would tell a story out of chronological order.
Well, I mean, obviously, the only right reason to do it, in my mind, is because there's information that you don't want your audience having up to a certain point, right?
Right.
Like, and that's the only that, or if you need to like have real deep character development moments, and you need multiple things to happen together that cannot chronologically happen together.
Right.
Memento.
Then they're okay.
Cyclical storytelling where you have to like go back and explain this is actually a person's second run through this lesson in their life, and they learned the lesson then, they're going to do better this time, or they didn't learn it and they need to learn it this time, or something like that.
Groundhog Day almost opened with that.
Yeah.
I was reading that one of the earlier versions. I was like, oh, well, how does this person know all these things? Well, let me tell you. Like, it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
So, but
doesn't sound terrible to me. So and you all know how my mind works. I'm trying to guess what's going to happen, what the ideas are, why we're doing things the way that we are in a movie. I wish I had known going into it that there was no reason for any of it, and then I could have maybe relaxed a little. Because here's what I was thinking. Your main character, who's also named Wade, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was just like
Wade number one.
Okay, I completely missed that. I just know they keep calling him No One or Number One.
Yeah.
Oops.
So your main character is a billionaire. And I don't know if y'all know what the political climate in America is like right now, but we're not very hot on billionaires right now. And so making him a protagonist is sketchy at best.
That's a tough choice.
Yeah, like Batman gets a pass because he's been a billionaire forever.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds' brand new character, billionaire philanthropist, who is
I was about
also,
to say, might as well throw Tony Stark in there while you're at it.
Who's also kind of an asshole when he's being a philanthropist.
I mean, the film does admittedly acknowledge that he's a billionaire asshole. I think they even use that line.
Yeah.
So, and the other characters call him out. So I'll give it that.
And there's a point in the movie where they're gonna leave the Skywalker behind, and our new POV character, if you want to call him that, I think he has like 10 minutes of screen time total.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He decides to go back for this guy, and number one makes a big point that they're not going to.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the anonymity and fucking whatever his weird new life credo is. And at that point, I was like, oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Especially that weird moment where when number 5 crashed and then was like held up in that gurney,
Yeah.
like he was about to get shot in what looked like a saw trap.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this scene and what movie is it from?
Right. Yeah. And
Like maybe he is the bad guy.
And I think the first big rewrite that I would do is he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Set up, and if you do it in a chronological order, he like saws people, basically. He jigsaws people into being on this team
Yeah.
so that he can use them and then like discard them by the end. So you have that whole like, you set him up as a villain, and then you have a character arc where you think he's going to get good, and then at the end you're like, nope, fuck you guys, this was all for me because I'm a asshole billionaire.
Yeah.
And then you have your actual finale be them taking him down.
Yeah. Who would
Yeah.
do it? Would it be 7?
Well, I would assume the whole team. Well, anyone who didn't die when they get burned.
True.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
that was my first, like, and the only reason I came to that conclusion was when I put it in chronological order. I was like, so he got bombed in another country and decided to fake his own death to then like blackmail people into making a mercenary team to take down the country that was bombed by putting the leader's brother into power, as if one person is going to change an entire leadership committee. First of all,
Yeah.
the plan's a little underbaked.
Yep.
It's a little soft in the center.
And I think that's why-
Also, he has 8 other people he wants to do something with who we don't know what they are or what his motivations for them is either.
right. Yeah, I think the reason the movie was edited this way is because they figured out by the end that like the actual plan is too simple and dumb. And by resorting the story to confuse us, we go, well, because the chronology is complicated, the plan must be complicated, right?
It's like when you take a fight scene that's not that good, but you flail the camera everywhere and just make it look more frenetic and kinetic
Right.
when it's not.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they did in editing.
Yeah.
You summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yep.
shook the Legos around. Some of the scene. Okay. Also, my biggest issue: a flashback should be a minute or less.
Yes.
Yep.
The Skywalker flashback is like 5 minutes, and he's in the middle of another heist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
We,
no.
we don't even see like any of the good parts of that heist either. So
There's just a random brand new chick on top of a roof
Yeah.
reaching out for a bag that within that second we have to figure out that she's betraying him. And I'm like, what is happening? Please slow down for a second. I need to understand. And then because this movie is 3 finales back to back to back, the actual end finale starts out really, really great. Like I genuinely, as an action scene, it all starts to tie together with the magnets.
Yeah.
And the magnets was like the coolest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
And then
Payoff.
and then
And then.
the movie goes, hey, I'm sorry that like this was all over the place and it was really hard to follow, but you know how they were trying to get off the boat and it looked like they were going to go down with it sinking and like the all is lost moment? Yeah, that happened like 10 minutes ago, actually, and they're in a helicopter now. Guess what, bitches? We won! And I was like, oh, fuck you, movie.
yeah.
Guess what? They're all in the helicopter. They all made it. Fuck you. This all happened 10 minutes ago. What? The boat's not that big.
There's definitely a lot of like, hey, I don't know how to explain how this happened, so we're just gonna jump and act like, it's reasonable that this is how we're doing things.
Yeah.
Also,
when he fakes his own death, they look for bodies in plane wreckage, right?
You don't say.
Where was the fucking cadaver to like swap out?
Yeah, that seems
Also-
like so under. Yeah.
what like besides getting bombed and like the weirdness that is his motivation for this, what was the connection to that girl and her kid? Was that his kid? Was that him like thinking that could have been his life? Were they ever together, or is he just like some dude who hooked up with her once, found out she moved to New York and is now lamenting his inability to hook up with her ever again?
Great question. So
I didn't read the whole Choose Your Own Adventure book. I only saw 2 of the 42 endings.
in the chronology of this story,
The lore.
that scene, the scene where he hooks up with her or meets her in the hotel, she's the bartender, right?
Yeah.
And they're flirting,
Yeah.
but then also the bad guy's there. The bad guy who,
And he's flirting with the bad guy.
and he's flirting with the bad guy, as Ryan Reynolds does.
Brought to you by Aviator Gin
Yes.
right.
for like a split second.
First of all, why do all the heroes get a title splash, but the villain doesn't? And I'm supposed to figure out that guy's the main villain of the whole fucking movie, even though I've never seen him before in my goddamn life. Yeah.
That's
So
asking for so much.
that scene happens right after he fakes his death, and he now is technically nameless. And then he hooks up with her and gets her pregnant, and then says that he's going to end up in New York or something like that, whatever his line was. And then when he goes to New York at the end, I think that's him like trying to go back into her life because Seven has convinced him that like you should have a name, I guess.
Where's your social security card? You exist, damn it.
Yeah, that's so we did see her. We saw her in the bar, we saw her on the bed, and then we saw her in New York.
Yeah.
And
See, my impression was that happened at the same time that he was there doing the humanitarian work.
no, I think that was after the humanitarian work because that's why he's so like aggressively coming at the villain.
I didn't know her name was Humanitarian Work.
Maybe.
Also, if you told me that a different actress played her in all 3 scenes, I'd believe you.
Oh yeah.
She just has like blank exotic face.
I just have a really like Oogie vibe that Michael Bay was just casting based upon the butts.
Oh, likely.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Sarah and I were both just looking like, yeah.
Imagine working your whole life to become a casting director. This is your dream job. You get hired by Michael Bay,
Oy.
and then he slides you on like a Post-it thing. Like, I don't care what they look like, just look at their butts. And then you go, God damn it, I went to Juilliard. I would like to make a movie about the people that work for Michael Bay.
Oh God.
Oh man,
Wow.
those poor people.
Or
Just
like maybe like a Lonely Island style
Okay.
like parody.
With that note, and tying back into the earlier statement that you have not looked at the editors for this movie, you should really look at the editors for this movie.
Oh God, should I?
Because,
I'm very curious.
yes, because they have done fantastic movies.
Now. Oh.
Like,
Oh,
okay.
Lord.
really, I
So we
mean,
can just blame Michael Bay.
like, and then did they work with Michael Bay? Like, there's definitely a running theme through their list of like, oh yeah, you like at least know what you're doing as an editor, and
Oh, yeah, there's, like,
sometimes you
3
do
of
a
them.
really good job as an editor. Oh, and then you work with Michael Bay. I mean, they're not like top tier editors, but they're not like
Where's cast and crew?
Right, so I do see
there we go,
one
there
of
we go.
them, and I'll also try to not say names, but one of them, they seem to have a certain style because they did Zero Dark 30, Argo, Imitation Game, and then I see
Yeah.
6 Underground.
Oh God damn it!
Yeah, I love how the one's picture is just Godzilla. And they did, A Quiet Place says editorial department. And hey, they edited World War Z.
And also one of my most favorite underrated movies, The A-Team.
Yes.
The director's,
yeah.
director's cut is better. I will say that. You know what bugged me? Just a little quick rabbit hole. What bugged me about people not liking the A-Team was everyone going like, it's too over the top. They like drop a tank out of an airplane and then like use the cannon to swing themselves into a lake. And I was like, first of all, did you not see the show? Because they would have done that if they had these budgets. You know they would have done that
You're
if they
not
had those
wrong.
budgets. Also, how many tank out of the back of an airplane scenes have we had since? Terminator Dark fucking Fate. One of the Fast and Furious movies, if not
yes.
2.
Yes, I think at least the 7th one. I remember that was where they dropped like all the vehicles out.
Get the fuck out of here. A bunch of people owe apologies to the A-Team, and that's how I feel about it.
that. It was a great movie. It knew exactly what it was, and it lived up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Also, that movie is way better at the out of order chronology where you don't know what the end of the plan is until the end of the plan.
Yeah.
Been a while
Because
since I've seen it, but yeah, you're right.
I love it when a good plan comes together.
There you
Is
go.
like literally the tagline of that series.
There's a reason for it.
And they did a really
Yep.
good job with that. I'm sorry. We will not be
Unlike
fixing
this, where the
18
team has no idea what they're doing at any point.
Right. Okay. Let's continue to discuss the issues with this movie as we
Yes.
peel back the layers of this onion. So number 6, the lesser, I won't say lesser, the younger of the Franco brothers.
The less controversial of
Yeah.
the Franco brothers at this point. The Greg Sestero of the
Dave.
Franco brothers.
Right. Yeah. Little
Dave is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, Lil Davey. I love him in most things he's in too.
Yes.
He was in Charlie St. Cloud, oddly, with Zac Efron, and
Sure.
that's where that friendship came from. I don't know if anybody knows.
So that's why Zac Efron played.
The
Where's my money, Denny? I can't remember. Chris R.
Yeah.
There you go.
Um,
in Disaster Artist.
Yeah, that's why they're buds because of Charlie
Interesting.
St. Cloud.
That makes more sense now.
Again, if this movie were in order, with that scene being, I guess, the middle
Maybe?
action scene. No, probably not. End of the first act action scene. I
Or
guess.
just make it shorter. Make it more like a Bond pre-credit scene.
So,
I think that's what they were trying to do, and it just didn't work.
yeah. What should have happened with his character is, A, we should have found out how he got into the team.
Yeah.
Because that sounds interesting. And then B, we should have cared when he died.
Yeah. And after he did die, I'm thinking, oh, we'll probably just see more, since this seems to be a flashback-heavy movie, we'll probably just see more of him peppered throughout. Nope!
Never comes back.
Dumped his ass in the water, and that was it. It's like, do you have Franco for like 3 days? What the hell? Like,
I
why?
Guess.
We
I have
we
questions.
needed him long enough to drive the fork of a forklift through his sternum,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. And I'm sorry that, like, they did as much as they could to make me like him. And, like, he's generally charismatic to begin with.
Yeah.
But, like, when he turned, the music on the radio bit, that was funny. And like, he's a really good driver, but he also still seems to be freaking out about stuff, which
Yeah. Very, very squeamish, basically.
I really appreciate
The
that in
eyeball,
a
the blood
character.
squirt.
I really appreciate that in a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, with the music bit, can we talk about the boomer shit that is both him and then the Skywalker picking songs that the leader absolutely hates and thinks is trash? Like at separate points and for separate reasons, the two youngest characters, any music they like, their their leader just hates.
Right. Has there ever been a movie where the leader and the millennial like the same stuff? Like,
I don't even think they qualify as millennials. I'm pretty sure they're Gen Zers at this point.
no,
Well,
Dave Franco's a millennial.
Yeah, Dave Franco's a millennial.
Oh, yeah, maybe,
Reynolds is probably
maybe.
Gen X, technically.
Although I guess you are right. It is that he is playing more of a Gen Z type character,
Yeah,
The Skywalker?
I don't know.
mean-
and Dave Franco.
Yeah, the character probably.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I like the boomer shit. No, you're right. You're right though. Would it be subversive to have a scene where like a kid turns on like something that's popular on TikTok right now, and then like the leader goes, "This is pretty fucking good."
Like,
Would that be too subversive? I don't relate to this
you
character
can't
anymore.
admit that new stuff is good. That's not how that works.
My favorite step back from that is when an old character turns on classic rock, and then the like Gen Zer likes it but doesn't know who it is or thinks it's the wrong band.
Oh, you mean like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No.
I love Led Zeppelin, bro.
Like, despite the fact that most of them grew up hearing that music from their parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just again, boomer shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just it's boomer shit. Continuing on. I
before you do, quick pause. I'm going to swap batteries real quick. Okay.
yeah.
I'm just getting close, and I don't want us to get cut off during like an intense scene.
Sure. I'm going to jump into a cutaway to a break then. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, I have more issues. I have more rewrites. Actually, every one of my issues becomes a rewrite.
There you go.
So overall, we're gonna get the same movie at the end, but probably just a little better.
One would hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not doing our job.
Yeah, true. All right, quick break, and then we'll be right back. Woo!
Cool. All right. You are going to lose my audio for a minute.
That's okay. I watched this one sober at first, and then stopped halfway through to be like, I'm drinking.
Well, you said like the back half got better, and now it makes more sense.
Well, the back half got more comprehensible. That's probably what I should have said. It got more
That's a
comprehensible.
better way of putting it. So yesterday, I did something I probably shouldn't have, but I did anyway.
Oh God.
It's
Punisher? I didn't even know there was a Punisher game.
It's Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom, and the arcade version of the Punisher, which only ever had a home release on the Genesis.
Wow.
There's never been an arcade perfect release outside of this. And it retails for $400.
Damn.
I saw a listing saying in limited stock at Target in Columbia for $250. And I got there and it was actually $220.
Nice.
It's like,
Worth it.
fuck it. It's like, I got the one for Christmas, the Final Fight cabinet. I'm like, oh shit, I might have a new addiction now. So now I just need to put it together and leave it at Sarah's instead.
Yeah.
So I sent it to Michael. He's like, holy shit.
I can't wait until we have an office space because it'd be so sweet to set up stuff like that in
Oh, yeah.
there and just like, yeah. 6 Underground.
Yeah.
Guys, why do we do this show?
Because 2 years ago, you and me were in a basement talking about movies, and we were like, you know what would be cool? Torturing ourselves every week to pitch terrible things.
But like, why can't we do a podcast about good movies?
Because nobody wants to hear that. They're all ready for all the Schadenfreude.
Guys, I saw Uncut Gems. Can we talk about that instead? Because it was
No.
really good.
No, that's not why people clicked on this. They clicked
Nope.
on for Six Underground and Aviation Gin and Samsung.
Yep.
Samsung claimed to be very upset.
What makes gin taste?
People come
like
here to listen to us, desperately try to be nice to movies, and end up shitting on them anyway.
that? Devin, do you know what makes gin taste like that?
Yeah, Juniper.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I thought you knew.
It's got to be better than that Juniper Latte.
Aviation Gin. Best in the world.
Apparently.
Although technically, gin can be any alcohol that is of a certain alcohol percentage and distilled.
Interesting.
The more you know.
This is a podcast about alcohol.
Yep. I mean, it might as well be.
I mean, I drink on every episode. So that's how I get through this, guys.
Oh man, dude! With you taking on this challenge to not drink for a while, I'm excited to see how this podcast goes with you sober for every one of them.
I mean, thankfully, we have enough like regulars and guests now that like we're booked out through March, so I don't actively have to rewrite anything for a while.
I need to see that schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I did a pretty good job booking it out. We got
Booking. Yeah.
booking. Yeah. No, I won't say that on air. Never mind. I tweeted it, but I don't want to cut the legs out from under it by saying it on a podcast.
Oh dear.
Follow us at Film Rescue Show if you want to jump on the show and pitch something after March. Yeah, let's talk about Six Underground more.
Yes.
There's no heart in this movie.
And it tries to have it at the very last minute.
Yeah, specifically number 7.
Yeah.
Who I think was exactly the wrong character to have heart in this movie. Let me flip back to the page. I'm trying to remember his number. Number 3. The guy who goes to visit his ailing mother
Oh yeah.
in the hospital, who constantly quoting movies.
Yeah.
Who gets high in
The
the middle
guy
of a
who-
heist.
Yeah, the guy who apparently used to kill like gangsters and then felt bad about it. I guess.
Yeah. he should have been the heart of this movie.
Yeah.
Not only is he breaking the rules to hook up with one of the other agents, and then they end up together, which, like, I guess if you're going to say this has heart, that is the scene that has heart.
Yeah.
I loved her acting in that scene when his mom hugs her and she acts like she has never been hugged once in her life. And I was like, how do you know how to act that? That's a really fucking weird note to be like, yeah, so you need to receive this hug as if you've never been embraced in your entire life. And you're basically Black Widow, but we're not allowed to say it.
That's a very good way of putting it.
I think Michael Bay really wants to direct a Marvel movie. That's what I think.
I mean,
He
I
put
feel like that's not really a question.
he literally put Deadpool, Black Widow, Luke Cage, The Punisher, and then like Nightcrawler, I guess. If you want to call the Skywalker, relate him to anybody Marvel. He literally made a team of Marvel characters, stripped them of their powers, and then put them into a really, really shitty video game story.
a rejected Fast and Furious script.
Hey, Marvel, don't let this
Yeah.
man anywhere near your products. Don't
Okay,
do it.
I'm gonna. I have a description for this entire movie that is gonna make Seth slightly mad, I think, but I'm okay with that. This movie, the entire time I was watching it, I was like, this movie is like if the Hardcore Henry guys watched Fast and the Furious and then Mission Impossible and then pitched their idea for a version of those movies to amateur filmmakers, but gave them a crew that actually knew what they were doing and then just let them run wild.
Why would that make me mad? That's so accurate.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
This is-
No, I mean you're right.
Yeah.
I think I'm still genuinely trying to process Michael Bay's film style and why it can be so good and why it can be so bad.
Yeah.
So he comes from commercials. That's his background.
I can see that.
And when you have 30 seconds to make somebody buy something, every single shot has to look good as fuck. And
Yeah.
and he just didn't lose that when he went into like other filmmaking. So he never has a flat shot. But
Yeah.
and this is a weird comparison I'm about to make. It's kind of like the opposite of James Cameron, where I just recently rewatched Avatar.
Okay.
It is goddamn jarring to go from the blue Na'vi people to the just humans in a room scene. Where there's like from like literally all of this is CGI and trying to look as real as possible to this is real. And then you switch to the real and you're like, this is ugly and boring. I hate humans. Let me go see the Na'vi again. And then you switch back out to them and you're like, oh, that's right, it's all fake. Michael Bay, on the other hand, is like it's so bombastic. There's no downtime. There's no static.
Yeah.
Like, explain to me why can you describe their nerve center planning room?
It's like a mid-desert diner.
You mean
something or
No, that was the first meetup. I mean, where
Oh,
The
they
okay.
defunct aircraft carrier?
yeah,
Is that the one?
a dark
Not
room with a
aircraft
table.
carrier, plane, yeah.
And like he tries to make that look really, really exciting and good. And I'm going, hey, just give me a nice wide real quick. Can I see the room?
Yeah.
Am I not allowed to see this? Okay, I guess I can't
No.
see this room.
No. It's top
No.
secret.
And some of his
The man spends all of his budget on camera equipment and then has to figure out how to work around a $4 budget for everything else.
right,
So,
like,
Yeah.
he does slow mo really, really well.
That's why his movies are so long.
Yeah, but like
yeah.
when we don't need it, did we need a 30-second long crashing the car and grinding against a dump truck shot?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No. Although, I will say, we desperately needed that shot of the car almost hitting a baby and then two dogs because that was
Jesus.
freaking hilarious.
That's another good point to bring up. So this movie's rated R.
Mhm.
How long's it? No, that's not the right question. The right question here is, did it need to be? And why did Michael Bay really, really hate civilians so much?
Good question.
Like, as I've said recently, I'm becoming more sensitive to things. And the scene at the end where the good guy is chasing down the blockade of SUVs, and they just tear through a bunch of protesters.
Oh yeah.
And I'm getting like flashbacks to North Carolina, and I'm going like, this is genuinely upsetting. And the good guy's involved in this. Like, he's not, there's no like him actively avoiding people. He's just like on their tail and then crashes and kills people. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Michael Bay. I'm sensitive now. I don't want to see this.
Yep.
I know it's realistic, but it's ugly and I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm getting very petty over this movie.
That's what it does to you.
There were a lot of innocent deaths in this movie about a team that were trying to eliminate the evilest people on the planet.
Yeah. And like, and
Yeah.
you would think that the point of the movie would arrive at is like, basically what everybody's been saying about Batman for the last 2 years of like, hey, maybe put your money into the city instead of into gadgets and things would get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if the movie arrived at that point, and if Ryan Reynolds is the bad guy, again, the team could arrive at the idea of like, maybe his money would be better spent, like, I don't know, trying to fix this place instead of making a mercenary team to take out a dictator like SEAL Team fucking 6. What are we doing here, guys? But the movie doesn't arrive anywhere.
No.
Nope.
It arrives at, yeah, we should just let action hero billionaires decide who runs a country. That's
Maybe that's the point of the whole movie is like, this is what happens when billionaires think they're action heroes and like the reality of it.
but they're victorious at the end.
It's true.
They do it. They pull it off.
Yeah. We needed one scene where the brother steps in and just becomes like an even worse dictator.
Right.
That would have just made it.
I was waiting for that to happen.
Oh God, we fucked up.
Execute him. He's your brother. I was genuinely waiting for that to happen. Yeah, I don't know. Would this movie have been better if it was all set in America? Like, that's one of my issues with the Just Cause series, is because he's like going like one-man army style into other countries to unseat dictators, which, like, yeah, sure, like, cool idea. And then when you put it to practice, it's like, oh, this is very violent, and I have to kill a lot of people. Like, I think more than anything, this movie not only doesn't have a message, but is actively ignoring the message that it's sending because of it.
All right,
Listen,
who wrote this?
This entire
Brett Reese.
movie, there was no more than 2 seconds of thought put into any aspect of this, because you can literally tear, like, everything. Everything has just, like, all the way back to the beginning with the team. You have a team made up of all these people who at one time or the other worked in organizations that we would, like, consider good for the most part. And then you have somebody who's literally just a thief who got recruited, and we have no idea what his motivation for doing good in the world is, considering like he almost dies at every turn of the movie.
What is the motivation in general, I guess? Like, hey, I'm going to make you a ghost, and then do they get paid at the end?
Yeah.
Was
like,
there,
I
I don't recall if there was a
It's not
talk of
clear.
like a score of like, if we pull this off, we'll give you $1 billion.
Yeah. No.
Have we been reduced to grunts on
Pretty
like
much.
how to talk
Yes.
about this?
Literally,
That's
by
what
the end of this
Michael Bay
movie,
movies
like
do to
I was
you.
just like, I've run out of things to say, because like the start, I'm like, oh, here's the problems with it. By the end, I was like, nope, it's just a problem.
Wow.
This whole movie, every second, it's a problem.
I hate this movie. Honestly, I don't know.
That's all we got.
I don't know why I picked
Listen,
it. It has cool action ideas.
I mean, you gave us a choice, but Devin and I were on the same page as to why we should do this one.
I would have had way less to say about Oblivion. I'm
Yes.
not
And
gonna lie.
I think that's another reason
Yeah.
why.
No,
I've never
Oblivion's
seen it,
like
but
a
still.
semi-intelligent movie that like
like a 7 out of
actually
10
has
on
some
IMDb.
plot. So
It really fumbles the end. That's what I was
Oh.
gonna fix mostly.
Okay,
It
so more
does,
like
yeah.
when you fix Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
You fix one thing.
yeah. It just
that's fair.
mostly it's the twist at the end that I'm just like,
Oh.
that was dumb. Like,
No. Yeah, that.
listen,
Oh, so it's like the end of the 2001 Planet of the Apes. It's like, this doesn't make sense. Too bad we get your money already. No!
Tim Burton.
You can fix so many movies with one statement, which we have made many times on this podcast. Know your ending before you write your story.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, this movie knew where it wanted to go. Did it?
This movie, you definitely cannot fix with that statement. This movie didn't know what it was.
Thank you.
This one was like, hey, have a story, please. Just anything.
You're asking for too much.
No, it knew where it wanted to go. It wanted to go from action scene to action scene.
Okay, that's fair.
And then look as cool as it could in the boring parts where you get lost in other movies, I guess.
And try to have heart in the last minute or two, which was totally not earned.
Yeah. And cliche
Yeah.
and ugly.
Yeah.
Is it unfair of me to compare this movie to Push?
Yeah.
Which I
Like,
still need to
is that
see.
too derogatory towards Push the movie?
I get. I think I get what you're getting at with Push because
Is that one coming up soon, by the way?
I think so. I
Meg, is that one coming up soon?
yeah, I know it's been requested. No, she actually switched her movie,
Yeah.
which I'm
shit.
fine with because the movie she picked is one I've never seen, and I
Ooh, I'm
enjoy
intrigued.
watching movies I've never seen.
I'm intrigued. Well, until you get 6 Underground.
Yeah, until I get 6 Underground. Yeah. So the comparison with Push is like they had a really good idea, and then probably got told that they need to like Harry Potter-fy it to make it a little more understandable, or like young adult fiction it. And what I mean by that is everything is the blankers. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
the pushers or the runners, or like they try to put everything
warriors.
into these little neat little things, and then when after they did that, probably as a studio note, they went back through and they were like, how do we end this fucking thing? Oh, a construction site and bamboo, I guess.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that in a couple of Jackie Chan
Literally
movies.
poles falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Just,
I think they wanted to do sequels, which like those movies tend to want to do. They tend to
Yeah.
have a larger story to tell.
Well, they also want to do that with this. God. What was that last line he says? It's like, it's over for some, but not for me, or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
very, like, vague enough. It's like 7 Underground coming soon.
Do you guys want another one?
No!
How
Fuck you, Meg!
how many how many times can you explain what it means to die in a single movie before people hate you? That is the
Right.
question.
He's just, I wish we understood why he was so in love with the idea of wanting to be a ghost.
Yeah, it just seems like he was bored.
Yeah.
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 It's like, oh, I amassed my millions and my billions, and I'm bored now.
Just one day while flying his Red Bull sponsored jet, he just decided, you know what, fuck this. I'm engine failure. Ah.
Oh no, I died.
Okay. Can we? Because we're getting increasingly angrier at this movie with good reason. Because like in 2 years, I don't think we've had a movie that we've hated this much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
It's been a minute.
Slenderman?
Yeah, Slender's probably the last one.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That one made it
yeah,
into top
no.
10 of our episodes last year.
Now, which one would, if you had to watch one of these again, which one would you rather watch again?
Slender, because I could at least
Slender
sleep
Man?
through that.
Yeah.
This movie's too loud.
Yeah, and Slenderman's like not even an hour and a half.
Yeah,
But it's a
sure.
slow
Yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
But
I'm
Can
trying
we
to think
try
back
to
through
pitch it?
scenes that I have issues with. I mean,
no, we've had movies we've issues with. I just feel like this is like another level of like
It's
how
frustrating.
can
That's
how
what
can
it
you make
is.
something so bad
Yeah.
with like so much practice and how
yeah, I'm.
like Slender Man is semi forgivable because it's like a smaller film studio, less experienced people trying to create something that really should never be made into a movie.
Right.
It makes sense that it's bad. There's no reason this should have been bad. Like
Well, there's no reason to tell this story.
No, it's very generic.
Yeah.
It's a lot of been there, done that.
I mean, and I think the thing that bugs me the most is it feels like the production of this movie was self-aware, but the writing and the execution weren't. And
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean by that. They knew that people I guess, are bored with the getting the team together trope.
Yeah.
Literally so bored to the point that we got a Rick and Morty episode about it. That's probably one of the funniest episodes of television I've ever seen. You son of a bitch, I'm in. That's where that meme comes from. Literally, the whole episode is the first act of a heist movie getting the team together,
God.
including the finale, which is like, and back when I got the team together, it's hilarious.
Jesus.
Like, the new season of Rick and Morty is fucking killing me. But anyways, this movie was like, oh yeah, people don't like the getting the team together thing, so let's just already have a team together at the beginning. Cool, I can get on board with that. Not terrible. Then your execution was splash pages with their number and their job, and then, oh god damn it, I guess we need to show how they got pulled into a team, because we have to explain why he's an asshole, and oh, this kid trusts him more than anybody, even though he went through a jigsaw situation with him as a joke.
Like, I didn't even realize that was a flashback. I thought it was like some weird random aside.
Like, it was happening at the same time. I was like, did this kid like fuck something up? What is happening? It's like, no, that was a flashback. But people don't like it when you like fade or say 6 months earlier or have to follow a timeline. People don't like that. So let's just
alter
jump.
your color palette in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Yeah, they were like, we need to make a getting the team together heist action thriller, but take out all the elements of it that are a heist, but also
Or getting the team together.
or getting a team together, but also up all the action sequences, which, like, again, I'll admit, a chase scene in Italy, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
The Italian Job,
Again.
they did it twice because it's that good. The pole on top of the building,
Yeah.
and that's just a playground for great action scenes. John Wick, rip that one off. I'm giving you permission. That place was awesome. And then the magnets in the boat, like, visually, this movie knows what good action should look like.
Yeah.
And then will take its time to be like, hey, you know what? Actively, let's just fuck this story.
You're not wrong.
So
So.
let's pitch this, because there's a good movie here, and we can pitch it.
Somewhere in there.
So far,
And if we continue down this path, we are headed into a black hole of madness, I think.
Yeah,
So,
no. We've almost run out of things to talk about in the movie.
True.
Besides that, Skywalker survives a fall that I don't think people can survive.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It's one of those
He
things. where
He died 12 times in this
He
movie.
died.
I'm just going to say.
He just died.
there are movies where you do start to wonder. It's like, all right, how much can certain characters take?
Yeah.
Like, you see a fall and you're like, all right, are we going by real life logic or are we going by action film logic?
Right.
And I was predicting the latter, and I was correct. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, that was like a multi-story drop onto like a great type thing. And like even in what apparently was a flashback, when he goes for like how many awnings before he hits,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, no, that totally slowed him down in his fall. No, he went straight through
No.
like it was paper mache.
Yeah.
So no, nice try though.
Also, I hate that tried to be a reference to a Buster Keaton short.
And Jackie Chan,
And, well,
Project A.
yeah, Jackie Chan was like genuinely the next Buster Keaton.
Oh yeah, no, he's acknowledged that in Harold Lloyd, like both of them.
This movie was like, oh, we should reference Buster Keaton real quick, and then just it pissed me off. I was just like, anytime you reference another movie in this movie, including the open like lines of dialogue that are references to other movies,
Oh yeah,
it made me upset.
it's like don't remind me of films I'd rather be watching.
Right. Literally,
Just
you're making
don't.
a playlist of other things I'm going to watch after this to cleanse the palate. Okay, Devin, you're right. We need to pitch this. So,
Yes. Well, do you guys have ideas? Because I have an idea that might set us off on the right course.
I
That
mean,
still semi fits the criteria we've talked about.
besides the main one that I dropped, Ryan Reynolds should be the bad guy
Okay.
villain,
because the lesson of the movie should be, hey, yeah, let's not let billionaires decide who runs countries.
Yeah.
Probably
Yes.
a good idea
Yeah.
in general, right?
Yeah, probably.
Uh,
So, based off of that, because I love that idea, and also Ryan Reynolds playing what we think is a good guy leading into a bad guy is something that he definitely needs to do.
oh yeah,
This is my opening pitch. The opening scene still kind of happens, although definitely done better, and without Ryan's character. Just have it be like literally number 2 through 7 as a team of like a highly trained operative team. It doesn't matter who they work for, who have a job just go completely sideways, and as a result, they kind of they don't debunk, but they kind of like quit or get put to the side, or feel dejected and have whatever job, maybe even have civilians die and have them like lament that the thing they're trying to do isn't important enough for innocent people to be dying because of it.
Okay.
Then have Ryan's character come in as the billionaire who's like, hey, I know what you've been doing. I know the things, like, do the whole red tape thing. That's all fine. Like, that's classic storytelling. Have him come in and be like, hey, I have a job for you, and you're going to be free to operate, provided whatever you need. Then, like, basically the pitch is what he's doing is using them to take out world leaders, because he became a billionaire and now his goal is to like rule the world, and he's going to do so by putting people who he controls into power.
Okay.
Then you have the team together already. You don't have to do a getting the team together thing. You put him in place. You have a reason for them being there, and you can go batshit with with your movie. I mean, obviously, there's more to build into it, but that's my thought.
No, I'm following. So, heist number 2 in the hotel, because that was in an Asian country, right? Was that Japan or Hong Kong?
I think it was supposed to be Hong Kong, because I know the one guy was screaming.
Yeah,
in
it was Hong
Cantonese.
Kong.
Okay.
Yep, they brought up Hong Kong a lot.
Only you would know.
Yes. You're not wrong.
And that's
Shockingly, not in Mandarin. I'm surprised they didn't go in that direction.
That's what we.
This will play great in China. No. Look at Star Wars.
I feel like Michael Bay thinks he's got like an in with China, and China's just like, no.
Yeah, just watch Transformers 4.
No, I won't do that. I'm Michael Bay out for the year.
Yeah.
I'm
one weekend.
Hot take. Not even super excited for A Quiet Place Part 2, because the opening of that trailer was a little too Bird Box for me. And Bird Box is going to get fixed this year.
Damn it.
Talk about broken chronology ruining your story. Oh, God. But that's not what we're talking about.
Not yet.
Yeah, so heist number 2 should be them probably taking out somebody. So I guess we need to establish why they're okay with assassination.
Yes.
Because apparently they're just fine with killing people. Again, one of the uglier aspects of the movie is like, oh, my good guys are just fine with assassinations. Like with Hitman, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
We get that he's an asshole and shitty. And we're rooting for him to not be killed, not to kill.
Yeah.
And the people he does kill are pretty established to be evil, right? So we need, I guess, something like that. Although, again, if you want to keep political things going on, it could be Hong Kong riots related, and the person they're taking out is like trying to prevent the riots from happening, or the opposite. Maybe the person they're taking out is actually pro-riots, but they get told that he's anti-riots, and that's why they're okay with taking him out.
My head hurts.
If Ryan Reynolds is actively lying at different points, or acts surprised when the twists happen, but then come to find out he was orchestrating it, that makes him go from being relatable to very evil by the end.
We just need one moment where he goes, what? Like you can tell, like he's just faking it. Just what? That's crazy.
That he was against the riots. What? Oh, I must have mistranslated the Cantonese.
Pokai Guilo.
Like, would that make sense in what you're thinking, Devin?
Yeah. See, my thought is like you go, you could almost go crazy and not even focus too much on the hits themselves. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Oh, it just went so dead. I want to be sure. Anyways,
killed us.
I mean, hey, it's happened. Anyways, you could focus less on like, instead of using one hit, and the entire movie's built around one hit. Because, like, first of all, let's kind of look at the reality of the situation. This whole movie building up to the assassination of one guy when they're like a small Black Ops team, way overkill. Like, literally, it doesn't take that much to assassinate somebody if you have those kind of resources and those kind of skills.
Well, and I think that's why they were trying to make it more complicated by saying not only do we need to remove this guy, we need to put his brother in place. Like the switcheroo makes it way more complicated
But
than
like-
just we
but
just
like-
need to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But like,
I'm
you know,
sorry. One more
well thought out hit, and you're pretty well settled. You've done it.
One more thing that upset me about this movie, their whole plan hinged on the brother being able to talk a bunch of leaders into following him with no other reason than just trust me.
And being able to incite a riot with like a 30-second video clip and a song.
Right.
You know what's frightening me the more I think about this? I feel like this is turning into a $150 million budgeted Neil Breen movie.
So
I want to see the Neil Breen version of Six Underground.
I want a disaster artist version of Neil Breen. That's what we got to do as Montrester Media. Do an Oscar-nominated movie about
God.
Neil Breen.
Oh my God. I mean, let's put it this way: he's made more movies than Wiseau.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Wiseau's pretty much like riding high on the room. Breen's got Double Down, Fateful Findings, I Am Here Now, Twisted Pair. I can keep going.
Yeah.
He just keeps making a new one every 2 years. Pretty much the same plot, but
He's got one idea, and he's gonna get it eventually.
all the laptops, all the cancer curing, all the government overthrowing. Yeah.
And the most unexpressive face on an actor of all time. I love showing people his movies.
Oh God, it's so bizarre. It's like an accidental Jodorowsky
Yeah.
with a really shitty budget.
Yeah. Anyways, back to bad movies.
yeah.
You get that joke? I'd rather watch a Neil Breen movie than watch this piece of shit.
The audience can almost hear your head turn towards me. Just
There are jokes that I think are going to come out more when this is a video show.
Yes.
Because like the in studio stuff you can't hear but you could see. Like when Brandon or I lean away from the mic and mouth a joke to each other.
or when I just want to like scream like I'm in the other room.
Yeah.
And not blow out the mic. Oh my God.
We're peaking. Yeah. Okay. Back to pitching.
We're trying.
Devin, it's going to be one of those. We're going to go out of our way.
I figured.
Yeah. So everything leading up to an assassination is too simple, unless the assassination is very hard to pull off and you need a team to do it.
Yeah. Well, so the thought is like instead of having like a ton of assassinations, right? This whole movie could be built around a quadrant of the world. You could literally pick somewhere that has like 4 medium-sized countries, and then you just go through them in progression, like
What is a medium-sized country?
a medium-sized country.
Yeah.
I mean, like a country that if their military became active, larger forces in the world, like the truly, powerhouse of the world, would have to take notice, but wouldn't necessarily be super worried.
So,
Because, like, let's face it, there's like, it's basically America and China, and then everybody else.
North
but-
Korea sits at that table, guys. I'm super serious. So not Luxembourg is what you're saying.
No. But yeah, so basically, like, with the start of the plan being like, hey, I'm gonna basically seize control of 4 smaller governments to then like build out from there. Then you can literally like the first half of the movie could be them taking out like the first 2 or 3 governments, pretty quickly, and we get to see them run through their operation, kind of, gaining confidence again together as a group. You can use it as a situation where like you can explain the hits a little bit, but like let's face it, all hits are relatively the same, right?
We're taking an eyeball.
It's not like, yeah.
Apparently.
I wish the movie had been
Him-
more like that.
Yeah.
Talk about things that bothered me. Him hanging onto the top tip of the stem of that eyeball while they drove trying to get it to read. And literally that entire scene, my brain's going, just grab the eyeball with your fingers and hold it in place. Just
Just don't squeeze it too hard. The jelly comes out.
Yeah.
Oh God. And I never ate jelly again.
Yeah, no,
yes.
the genuinely, I want to try
Like-
to find a way to make the action scenes progressively more bombastic instead of
Starting big.
instead of like
Yeah.
literally the same energy across all of them. They're just
Yeah.
longer.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, like, plenty of movies have done that, and you can definitely build into it where, like, maybe at first. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to do it, because obviously, if you're gonna do a big, like, action-driven movie, right, and that's really what this is. There's no, like, unless you wrote an entirely different movie, there's no way around, like, it's gonna be action scene after action scene after action scene.
Right.
The progress of, like, this hit is quick and exciting, and then each one is, like, bigger and harder, and, you know, lasts longer without being a pill. Needs to like, that's a tough thing to walk, right?
Yeah. Well, and like
I'm trying to figure out.
like we discussed, the action scenes aren't the issue mostly of these movies, beyond being
No.
a little regrettably ugly towards innocent
Yeah.
civilians.
Yeah.
They literally, like, they saw the notes on Man of Steel and they were like, oh no, fuck that, we could do it worse.
Good call.
Terrible call. The worst call. Yeah,
Foreshadowing.
yeah, the action scenes aren't the issue. It's the strings in between, right? Like the why and the how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I would like to find a way for the parkour guy to have something to do in the final act that is related to his skill set,
Yeah.
and not, oh no, the
Well,
kid's getting the shit beat
okay.
out of him on the post.
Seriously, at that part, I'm
That
like,
is so
why are you on this team?
easy to do. Just don't make him a parkour guy. Make him a thief. Like, he can have those skills if he's a thief. Instead of being the guy who, like, runs in the middle of the fray, gets shot at, almost dies, somehow miraculously doesn't, and then repeats that process. Give him a
Reference.
skill set that's useful in any kind of a heist movie. Because, like, that's what he was already. I don't know why he had to be the parkour guy when clearly his skill set is being a thief.
Well,
I just-
visually, parkour is more Michael Bay
Yes.
than
Yes.
but
his other
he
skills.
can still okay. He can still do that and be the thief. Like, freaking make him Sly Cooper.
True. It would
Like-
it would be cool if, like, maybe at specifically the end action scene, he's more related to the brothers' takeover of that government building. So they blow up the statues, and again, that is literally, like, one of the things you do all the time in Just Cause is take down dictator statues. Like, it is one of the missions
Oh man.
that you do consistently. This movie is just Cause.
It is.
If it was like, oh, we need the parkour thief guy to kind of Mission Impossible his way into the upper areas of this building from the outside,
Yeah.
to be, like, allowing access for the brother to get through the building. Like, maybe he, you know, has to stop off on levels and get inside and, like, unlock things for him.
Like-
Yeah.
Here's the thing: this movie had the opportunities because, like, he breaks into a TV station antenna, right? Plants a thing. How much parkour do we get during that scene? Almost none. Why? Like, that's the scene you show it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because then it's like, oh, there's a purpose. Okay, we get it. He's not just running between buildings for no reason.
We did need this guy.
Um,
Also, the doctor
Ah, yes.
was
who
necessary for
is
the
not a
opening
doctor?
scene.
Pretty much, yeah.
And of the characters that checked in on Dave Franco's dead body, she was not one of them.
No.
She
Nope.
wasn't doing her job very well.
He turned into Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
This movie.
Okay, here's the pitch. We don't need to make the dictator scenes get bigger. What we need to do is have, like, the first half of the movie, them eliminating dictators, and the first guy is, like, clearly a bad dude, right? It's like, okay,
Oh,
he's
the lawyer that
killing
gets his eye
people.
taken out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Each progressive guy that they take out is a little more questionable, which is what's driving them to begin to question number one's motivation
Okay.
of like, maybe we don't need to be killing this guy, but like he's head force into it. The big final scene is them coming after one, but now he knows how they operate. He has all the resources, so strips like he's not giving them the resources to do the job. And we get to watch them operate based on their skill set and their own resources alone against the guy who can literally hire as many mercenaries as he wants.
Ooh, you know what would be really cool? Set up the magnet bit. I'm sorry, it's the coolest part of the movie.
True.
It is, despite like breaking every law of physics that exists.
Yeah,
it is.
It's the coolest part of the movie.
Film physics.
They use it just enough that it's cool every time.
Yeah.
Not so much that it feels like a crutch, and not so little that you're like, oh come on, man. Like another Ryan Reynolds movie. Show me a little more Green Lantern powers, guys. You use the ring fucking 4 times, and one of them's Hot Wheels. Get the fuck out of here. That ring can do anything. Yeah, so the magnets are the coolest part. It would be awesome if if we could get the magnets into every single heist so that they realize that he's reliant on them.
Yeah.
And then B, when they go to take him down, he's too reliant on his skill set. And they're like, yeah, but you gave us plastic guns. And so, hey, nobody brought any metal to this game.
Take that, Magneto.
Yeah. Also, a better usage of ceramic weaponry. The fact that Mystique had to inject iron into some dude's blood to break him out of prison, probably one of the coolest prison escapes. X-Men 2 is a goddamn masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's fine. Anyways, does that make sense? What I'm going for here is like setting up his strength to become his weakness at the end.
Yeah.
Much in the same way of metaphorically, we want to set up that the strength of his billions of dollars is really his weakness as a person.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you said it like that. That's great. You can do it with more, like, it's not just, it is everything. Like his strength is the magnets. It's all his resources. The team, which we watch operate using all the resources, we see them operate like hyper efficiently and super fast, but then you end it with all that gets stripped away and they're still badasses. Like they still know how to handle themselves.
Excuse me. Right. Also,
like, I feel like that's the best possible ending for like the character arc that you would get in a movie like this. Also,
I would love to run a joke through this story where number 3, the hitman, his like in general, his like political worldview is eat the rich. And it becomes a little more aggressively obvious that he's maybe a cannibal.
Make it literal.
Right? Like, how hilarious would that be?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, just eat the rich. And then by the end, it's like, so there was like thumbs missing from some of your hits back in the day. What happened to those? And he was like, eat the rich. I like low-key cannibal characters.
At that point, it's like, I'm just kidding.
So what should we do with Ryan Reynolds?
I mean,
eat the rich.
Seth, you realize though, like you just sparked like so much potential darkness for this movie though, right?
Okay,
like,
as if this movie's not dark enough.
Seriously.
The
I just
eyeball
mean, like,
scene.
You could literally the entire movie, like there's gonna be blood everywhere, right? Like you could have this dude like licking his lips and sucking on his fingers,
right?
And, like
it's like, why is there blood on your face?
Like,
oh,
just...
I cut my lip, and I definitely didn't bite that guy's thumb off earlier.
That scene where he's sitting at the table eating when they come up and he's like in a blanket. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that's probably what stemmed that joke in my head. He's like, leave me alone, I'm eating. And then they like, what's in the bowl? What's in the bowl? What are you eating? Yeah, that's a good joke, and I would like that to run through our movie. That's infinitely funnier than, oh man, and what if the eyeball just disappears after the first mission?
Jesus.
What happened to the eyeball? Wipes face. No idea.
After they use it, he offers to hang on to it for safekeeping.
Yeah, exactly. Just like every rewatch is like, oh, this dude's a cannibal.
Yeah.
That's why he's very okay with killing.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like,
Yep.
I mean,
His meal ticket.
if they gotta die anyways, why waste the meat?
Hey, it's like when you kill somebody in a video game and then suddenly you have energy. There you go. They don't delve into that in Contra.
Vampires.
Castlevania it is.
Yeah,
Absorbing that life force.
that's a joke that I would like in this movie.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Okay, I have another little addition.
Okay.
So the beginning scene where they screw up, we should have whoever their current leader is be killed. And then that puts them in like a weird power vacuum where they're not really sure who's going to lead them, which allows number one to step in, which would help us explain like how he becomes like how he so easily takes an entire like highly skilled team and puts them together.
Right.
But then leaves place for them to figure that out when they realize they have to take him down.
That he killed their first leader?
No, that they need a leader. Like you can have somebody step up to put the team together, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
like if he's doing it the whole time, and that explains their reliance on him, but then when they realize they have to break away from him, somebody's going to have to fill that role.
So Dave Franco doesn't die, their leader dies.
Yeah, which could honestly could be Dave Franco, depending on how much screen time you actually had for him, because you don't need a team of 7 people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people to be throwing around.
Sure.
Um,
Or they could both
But-
die. Honestly, again, if we put this
Yeah,
movie in
that's true.
chronological order and we care about, I almost said Zac Efron. If we care about Dave Franco dying, it lends to we not only did pedestrians die, but 2 of our people died.
Yeah.
We're not doing great over here.
Yeah.
And we care about Dave
Yeah.
Franco. I care about Dave Franco. Listen,
Yeah.
man, don't work.
especially
with
if you make the first scene very clear what they're trying to do, and you make it for a really good cause and have it
a
go
just
bad.
cause.
So yep.
Brandon just face palmed into his microphone. I guess it face mic'd. It's not face palmed at that point.
Yeah.
Face mic'd.
I do it more than the audience
Facebook,
realizes.
perfect. It's the opposite of a mic drop.
True. Very true.
I hate these jokes and I hate this movie. And this is a great way to start 2020. This will be the first episode that no matter how good we rate this, I'm going to end it going I wouldn't see this movie.
No.
I'll pass on our movie.
God.
At this point, I'm ugh.
It's like whenever you see interviews with actors or crew members who are don't see this movie I was in or worked on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's where we're at with this.
I love that self-awareness in an actor, though.
Oh,
that they're
man.
listen, I got paid for it, but you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
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 I did a job, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes things are just a mess.
Sometimes Michael Bay gets to direct things.
But not
Yep.
Bad Boys for Life.
Oh man.
If he's producing a 4th one of those, why didn't they call that Bad Boys for Life? Come on.
Because that's a dumb title.
Exactly. Which is why they should have waited for that one.
Xbox Series X, iPhone XS, X Max, XS.
Series X. No, it's just going to be called the Xbox. Fuck your own face. That doesn't make sense.
The Fast and
High
the
School
Furious.
Musical, the series.
There you go. See, at least that's tongue in cheek, though. The Fast and the Furious.
This is
Fast
true.
and Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Mm.
Fast 5, Furious 6. I want to throw shit right now. Who lets people name things?
So wait. It was Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, Fate of the Furious.
Yes.
And they not once put the
Hobbs
8
and
in
Shaw.
Fate, which makes me sad.
Yeah.
It was right there.
I really hope Furious 9 is just Fast and Furious 9, they go to space, we're done now. That's the title.
That'll be 10.
No, 9. I don't need 10.
I know we don't need 10. We don't need 9 either. But we're still getting them.
We're family now.
Again.
We're still a family.
We're still family.
Our family's growing and shrinking as people die.
We got to balance it out.
Wait, can it be Fast and Furious 9, the space race?
No. No, because I like it too much.
Just very matter of fact. No.
No, because I like it
No.
too much. Because it makes too much sense.
Oh man. All I know is that we're getting Charlize back for the next two, so
Because she had too much of a good time playing that character.
I think they're trying to do more of like an arch nemesis thing. They're like, hey, we killed too many villains in one movie. We should probably let one breathe a little more.
I think she's having a really good time playing that character.
No, that's also true. I will not deny that.
The scene where she's like taunting him with his baby and he actually cries, like for real Vin Diesel cries.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That scene must have been just ridiculous to be involved in making.
He's like, oh shit, I'm acting with Charlize. I need to step up my
Yeah.
game like 50 times.
Like Bruce Willis
Oh,
and
God, I know D'Onofrio
D'Onofrio
in
in
Death Wish.
Death Wish.
Fucking Death Wish.
That episode will never come out.
It's maybe it's for the best.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued by
Probably.
Bruce Willis.
Did the Glass episode come out?
Nope.
Nope.
Don't want to get sued by
How
Bruce
about-
Willis.
how about
It
Live
might
Free or Die- or
legitimately
Good-
be the
Good Day
curse
Die
of our
Hard?
podcast
That one came out.
Bruce Willis movies just don't work out for us.
So only one Bruce Willis movie so far has actually made
We
it.
should just
that
make
we
a new
tried.
rule. If we get suggested or do a Bruce Willis movie, we have to immediately recast him. That's the new Film Rescue rule. First fix: recast Bruce Willis.
So I love that we've tried 3 and only one of them actually made it through.
I have the audio for all of them. I could probably fix them into something, but goddamn,
Patreon.
Can we go one better though and just pick a single actor that we're always going to recast him with?
oh yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you, Ryan Johnson.
Just every single time. So, immediate first fix. It's now Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Even if it's an old man role, we'll just put him in old man Bruce
Yes.
Willis makeup.
Hey, there's enough deep fake now. It works.
True. Very true.
Oh my god.
I love Looper. I'd much rather talk about that, but we got to talk about Six Underground because somebody here was like, "Hey,
Do
first
we?
episode of the
Do we?
year, we should do Six Underground." Hey, so here's the thing about action movies. I hate them.
Wow. Hot take.
Besides, like the Raid movies and 3 of the Die Hards.
So question for you, Seth.
Yeah.
How did you found out that Michael Bay was going to do the raid?
Oh.
I would feel bad.
Yeah, that remake of the Raid's still like lurking in the depths at Sony right now.
Please don't.
That's actually how the Raid 2 got funded.
Avi Arad. Making a Spider-Man movie. Why is he J.J.
I was about to say,
J.
why
Jonah
did you turn him
Jameson?
into Jameson?
In my head, he's got a fat fucking cigar and he's like, Venom 2, let's do that one.
But
Bring me movies of Spider-Man.
I'm gonna fucking pass out from how hard I'm straining with my labs. But no, that a lot of people don't realize the Raid 2 got funded because of Sony. It's like, hey, this movie is too big. We can't get a budget. Okay, I'll do the Raid 1. Oh, hey, we're gonna buy the rights to the Raid, but we also want to do a remake, and we'll give you money.
Why not a third one?
He's waffled back and forth on that. At first, he's like, oh yeah, I'll do a third one. He's like, no, I think my story's done. Which I kind of respect.
I totally respect that.
Like, it's kind of hard to proceed from the second one. Not impossible. But it's not like you want to do like a parallel story, and I'm always kind of weird about that. Like sidequels instead of sequels.
Sidequels can at least have a new tone.
True, but I don't know if I want that for a Raid 3. Like, the ending of the 2 just feels so complete,
Yeah.
but I feel like there should have been a third story somewhere, but I'm a sucker for trilogies, so I don't know. But I digress.
MCU's had him for 2 movies. I want him back. Make Sony movies of Spider-Man. Bring Sam Raimi back. I'm lifting my fists in the air at the same
He
time,
is.
just like the GIF. Bring Tobey Maguire back. We're doing Spider-Man 4.
You just look like an action figure that someone just keeps hitting the back of over and over again with desk pounding action. Jesus Christ.
Desk pounding action. That's great. I need
I
that
guarantee
toy right now.
Toy Biz back in the 90s would have promoted that and like the little star outline.
He comes with his own desk.
Jesus Christ.
Cut out little papers to put on it that he can pound off. I can see the commercial in my head.
For sure.
Hey, Sonny, what are you doing? I'm beating the papers off. Like, what?
I mean,
What are kids doing nowadays?
Make them in the style. What were those toys in like the 90s that literally had the like punching action with the little thing on the back, and
those
literally it was
Rock'em
just their
Sock'em
arm
robots.
going up and down. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
also the movie Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I mean, Real Steel.
Yeah. Perfect.
That movie had
Oh, man.
1,000 times more heart than this film
Yeah.
did.
And it shouldn't have. Then somehow it did.
Why did I care about a little dumb robot in that movie?
Hugh
It
Jackman.
was like Wall-E all over again.
True.
I was like, oh, this little practice robot. I want him to win so bad.
It's like I should have hated that more, but then you had Hugh Jackman. Speaking of Greatest Showman, I didn't hate that film, but if someone other than Hugh Jackman was in that role, I probably would have.
Oh man, we tried to fix that one, and I fucked up the audio. That was my biggest mistake of this podcast.
No.
We had the guys from No Mustard Allowed on, and the pitch was great
man.
because it was basically let Panic at the Disco do the soundtrack,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then make him more racist.
Yeah.
That was essentially the fix. That episode actually could never come out because the audio is gone, and I to this day don't know what happened.
It's a lost episode.
Yeah,
It's like Doctor Who.
we have a lost episode on our lineup, Terrifier. It's just Devin and me talking about this.
Is that the clown
Yeah,
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that movie is bad.
So I hear, like, I see people post about it on Facebook. So I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be like the new Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. It's like, it just looks like your cliche creepy clown.
No, here's what it is.
Yep.
It's what if Bugs Bunny was an evil demonic clown? I'm not even kidding. That's the pitch.
I don't know how I feel about that.
He's so cartoonish and like genuinely pulls off like Bugs Bunny-esque escapades. Am I wrong, Devin?
No, like you literally can't take him serious for a second through the entire film.
For the audience at home listening to this, I have a very confused look on my face. More than usual.
Apparently, the Terrifier that Devin and I watched wasn't the first one, and it's not going to be the last one either.
I didn't even realize there was more than one.
Yeah. Apparently that was actually the sequel, and there is a first one that's worse, and he's getting to do another one because it's like a cult following. I'm genuinely interested.
I think that's what it is. I think it's one of those things where it's like, this probably ain't going to be much better, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
That's why there's 5 Michael Bay directed Transformers movies.
True. I'm so impressed by anyone that can make a trilogy except Michael Bay. He can't even do Bad Boys 3.
Yeah. That's so weird. Like, he has nothing to do with it, but allegedly he's producing a 4th one. Like, why? Like, and was he not doing the 3rd one because he was directing Six Underground?
Is Will Smith tired yet?
I think he's getting there. I mean, he's now showing up on the slow-mo guys, so take that as you will. I like the slow-mo guys, but I was like, Will Smith, why are you here?
Because Will Smith's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
His marketing team is like,
Oh,
hey,
Will Smith's on like everything.
That's fair.
We know
That's
what
fair.
channels you need to get on for people to be like, oh, he's a real YouTuber.
He's one of us.
Will Smith stays up late at night editing his videos for YouTube. I promise, guys, it's exactly what you're thinking. He doesn't have a crew of people with multiple cameras, cinematography setups, LUT packages.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, he's on YouTube. Jada Pinkett's on Facebook. So
What's
yeah.
Facebook? I'm sorry.
I haven't heard of that.
I'm under 30. I don't know what that is. That was a joke, but fuck Facebook. There's a reason there's no film rescue page on Facebook.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I don't want to have to manage that.
Yeah.
And
It's
we
like-
want to own our content. Or as much as-
Yeah, basically. I want to own the things that we make.
That's a very good
Is that
call.
asking too much in this day and age?
Yes.
Probably. Can we not talk about, can we genuinely just like not talk about Six Underground from this point on?
Yeah, no.
That's fine by me.
Can we talk about Uncut Gems real quick?
I mean, I still need to see it, but have at it.
My hot take to start off 2020, genuine hot take. Adam Sandler's performance as Howard in Uncut Gems is better than Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck.
Wow.
Dang.
All right.
Yeah.
Color me intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Joker
still
coming
have
out
not
this
seen
week
it,
on Blu-ray
so-
and 4K.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Tuesday.
I'm so proud of
By
myself.
the time you hear this, it'll already be on shelves.
I'm so proud of myself.
Unless it's Walmart, and it's probably already there when it's not supposed to be. Like, I saw a picture of someone who had the Blu-ray at Walmart.
Oh man.
Like, Street Date, what's that? It's like, well, it's already available digital. I'm sure it's
knows?
legal.
Oh man, that happened when I worked at Best Buy one time, where we had stuff back in like the media center.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm legally able to say this. We had stuff back in the media center, and somebody got a game like 5 days before it was supposed to come out.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Ooh. It wasn't a Nintendo game, was
No, it was a Call of Duty game.
it? Okay. Yeah, because it's the Nintendo leaks where they, like, lose their fucking
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Like, any other game leaks early, it's like, okay, yeah, this thing's here or there. Nintendo's like, all right, send out all the lawyers. Like, holy balls.
Yeah, and it was one of those like I'm pretty sure it was a new person, and like
Uh-oh.
somebody came in and asked like, "Do you have the new Call of Duty game?" And he was like, "I don't think so." And then he was like, "Oh, could you check in the back?" And he went to the back and it was there, and he didn't read that like, "Hey, this whole section is for stuff that doesn't go out until the weekend."
Do not open till. And just put a date on it.
Like literally, we watched the guy walk out the front door as like the manager got alerted that it was being sold, because like there's alerts in the system
Yeah.
to say that like, "Hey, this shouldn't be sold. Don't do this."
Oh,
What-
God.
The poor
Why
new
would
guy.
the cashier not see that and stop?
Because this guy wanted the sale. Okay, literally, Best Buy pushes for sales in the way that I'm pretty sure that like Nazis were pushed to kill Jews. It is disgusting. It is.
So if you're hearing this part, you're most likely a patron.
They push credit cards on people that should
Oh,
never have a credit card.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
And like
I-
the employees are trained on how to spot and get people to sign up for credit cards.
You have mentalists working there.
Like, I'm sorry. I'll cut all this out. You two just needed to know it. I'm just
Do you
mad.
want me to throw something at you that might make you madder than your Best Buy experience?
Yeah,
Make
absolutely.
you madder than Six Underground did.
So Michael Bay wants to do a Marvel movie.
Oh, he does want to do one.
Do what?
He does want to do one, you said.
That yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah. I'm assuming. I
Oh,
mean,
you're
based
sure?
on
I
everything.
thought you
we've
found a news article somewhere like, no!
seen. No.
It's
No.
Morbius.
But in a hypothetical world where Michael Bay wants to do a Marvel movie, how much would it destroy you to find out that he was doing the next Moon Knight?
Like, as you were leading up to it, it's like, I know you're going to say Moon Knight.
I am so far fucking removed from this whole Moon Knight situation. They're genuinely making every wrong decision possible. It's gonna be so bad.
But I know somewhere there's an example, I can't remember where it looked like everything was lining up to be like a shitstorm of like bad choices, and it turned out good, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was.
When you think of it, let me know, because like as of right now, the writer they have on it is all wrong.
Oh, man.
Elijah Wood is being eyed for the role apparently, and like
Jeez.
sure, but also no.
Sure, but also no.
There
That's the quote of the day.
okay, and like listen, I get that Moon Knight's not great. I get that one of his villains' name is Jack Russell, and he turns into a wolf man. I know that that's all canon. You don't have to put it in the goddamn show, and they're gonna. Yeah, the Wolfman character is going to be a villain in the show because fuck any semblance of like cutting out the shitty stuff from. We're 6 years away from a Clone Saga Spider-Man movie. I hope you
Yes.
guys realize that.
Sounds about right.
And the
Oh,
Clone Saga was the dumbest part of Spider-Man lore, except for him making a deal with the devil to get Mary Jane to come back to life. Listen, comic books are dumb. And
yeah. No.
there's a reason they have to adapt them to be movies.
Fair.
And don't just like animate the splash pages.
I feel like there's a severe lack of understanding that of all media that exists, comic books require the largest disconnect from reality of anything that exists. Like, you just have to suspend disbelief to a degree that is not even realistic to ask of people, and yet people do. you can't ask people to do that for an hour and a half movie, even for a second.
Yeah, I mean that's escapism.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
But like,
when there's 3 Tom Hardy, not Tom, but plays Spider-Man right now.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Tom H is what I was going for.
I was supposed to say Tom Hardy's Venom.
I'm
so.
looking at Ben Hardy on the screen too every 5 minutes because he played Billy or Number 4 in Six Underground, which we've stopped talking about. It's Rescued. It's an action movie. We made it better by making him the villain.
There you go.
Billionaires shouldn't exist. The end. Yeah. So when there's a bunch of Tom Hollands running around on screen and Miles Morales, and they just try to do Spider-Verse, but way worse. Guys, the MCU's not going to hold up. Endgame was the last one. Just plant that in your mind. Endgame was the last one. And then everything after that is just movies. Endgame was the last one of that story. Just make that your mantra, and then you won't hate yourself when you get the Clone Saga movies in 6 years.
I mean, let's be honest. We're only going to have 2 more MCU films with Spider-Man.
Bring Spider-Man back to Sony. That's assuming Sony doesn't buy the IP for like $10 billion.
Oy, Jesus. Can they afford that at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't Sony still kind of shaky right now? Wasn't like Apple looking to buy them at some point?
If they make $10 billion to sell off Spider-Man and then sell some stuff off to Apple, listen, cut out the fat, dude. Get a streamlined Sony again. And don't make The Interview.
Yeah.
The Interview's a really bad movie.
That's what I heard.
Yo, you didn't see it?
I was curious, but then like when people actually started to see it, when it wasn't like hiding in weird leak world, like it was more the controversy that intrigued people than the film itself.
Oh yeah.
Like, I heard the film itself wasn't that great. They even had to censor it to avoid like how graphic Kim Jong-un's face exploding was.
Yeah, it gets like rippled off in an explosion.
Yeah, it was like what's his name in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
but that was rated PG.
Yeah,
and this was to avoid an NC-17 apparently. So, oh dear God.
No, yeah, The Interview was it gave us a bunch of
it's a movie.
Gave us a bunch of great James Franco gifs, and then the rest of it's kind of bullshit.
That sounds about right too. But yeah, if it wasn't for that and all the leaks and hacks, we wouldn't have MCU Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So The Interview is indirectly responsible for MCU Spider-Man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can't. Oh man, if Disney buys Spider-Man for $10 billion when they bought Star Wars for $4 billion.
Well, here's what's funny, and I've probably talked about this before, but apparently there's some weird contract loophole thing where if Apple buys Sony, it voids the rights to Spider-Man in film. Like,
sure.
It automatically goes back to Marvel. Like, they don't even have to pay anything. It's like, oh, you all don't really own that anymore? Oh, thank you. It's like a weird loophole I read about. Like, there's so many weird legalities with characters from franchises and what's, this form of media versus that form of media. It's like, no.
When we get the Apple TV Clone Saga with Jason Momoa as Kraven, because he's on that Blind People action series.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
What's that called? Blindness? Do you know what I'm
Sure.
talking about, Devin?
Nope.
Oh, so okay.
I do,
You
but I
guys
can't remember the
are
name.
outside of my realm of knowledge at this point.
So Apple TV exists as a streaming platform with
For
original
reasons.
content.
Yeah.
And one of their original content shows is a Jason Momoa-led show where everyone's blind. I think.
That's it.
At this point, I'm talking out of my ass. I think somebody gives birth to a seeing child for the first time in forever, and they have to protect it in the woods of a post-apocalyptic Alaska. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I do kind of know what you're talking about. I remember seeing some like previews or spots or like video clips or something from it.
The Cataract contact budget for that show is like $10 million to make everyone look blind. It looks like absolute dog shit. And if Spider-Man goes to that streaming platform, they're going to make Jason Momoa Kraven. And
it's literally just called C.
C, that's it. Yeah, even dumber than blindness. Hey, everyone in 2020, let me name your shit. I will do a better job than Xbox Series X. That's just such a
Jeez.
mouthful.
It is. But yeah, allegedly they're saying it's like, oh, it's not going to be called Xbox Series X. That's just part of it. It's just going to be called Xbox. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's like PlayStation saying we're just going to be calling
Yo.
the fifth one PlayStation.
At this point in the simulation, if they just ship original Xboxes, I won't even be mad. I will laugh my ass off.
Oh, God. Although, I mean, right now it looks like a computer, so
Yeah.
take that as you will. But yeah, apparently it's powerful, but it just looks like a tower. That's it.
That's what we need.
Consoles are slowly just becoming PC. They're
Yeah.
becoming
The
integrated.
PC Master Race is
Ugh.
enacting their long-term plan.
Oh, man.
The reptilians that run them are like, hey, PC Master Race, Steam is a bad platform, and you guys should be sorry. Apologize for Steam.
Steam is bad, and you should feel bad.
Basically. What else can we talk about? Uncut Gems? Anybody?
Yes.
I still haven't seen it.
I still haven't either, but I'm very intrigued to see Adam Sandler
I am
in
definitely
something good.
yeah.
You know that scene in The Grinch where his heart grows 3 sizes? Or 2 sizes?
It grows.
Yeah,
Some
Ex-
size.
by
Yeah.
some number.
Yeah.
Watching Uncut Gems, my anxiety grew by 3 sizes.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe I shouldn't see this.
Genuinely, and this is like just a testament to filmmaking. In one of the most anxiety-inducing, frenetic scenes of the film, he gets a call about a colonoscopy from the beginning of the movie, and I was so invested in finding out what the results were for that colonoscopy.
Oh, my God. Wow.
That it's really I mean, it's the Safdie brothers. They make different movies. I don't know if y'all saw Good Time.
No, that's the one with Pattinson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't
Yeah.
I won't ruin anything, but their brand is here's a very flawed protagonist that you could almost call an antagonist, and bad stuff happens to bad people, guys, and that's what their
Gotcha.
movies are like. So
Gotcha.
you always exit the theater going, I feel bad. Like, I need like chocolate milk and a grilled cheese sandwich and a hug.
Oh, no.
That's what their movies are. I mean,
Oh, no.
I said this in my Letterboxd review, and I'll probably say it about every single one of their movies. They make fantastic films, and I do not enjoy watching them.
Oy. Shit.
That's just
Because
that's their thing.
I've seen lists of films like films that you need to see once and you'll never want to see again.
Yeah,
And it sounds like that's what this might be.
yeah. Basically,
Jesus.
like genuinely, they have like a hard time focusing their cameras at points. They're not like high-end advanced filmmakers, but it adds to the
Yeah.
experience and the realism of like, oh yeah, that shot was out of focus for a second. That's fine. Like,
They honestly though, I feel like it based purely on just their previous film, which you just named, and
Good-
now
Good
I'm
Time.
blanking on.
good time.
Yeah, Good Times. They seem like just really great writers who then
Yeah.
went out and couldn't find people to make films, so decided to make the films themselves.
Well, apparently, they sent this script to Sandler in 2009,
Oh, yeah.
and
Dang.
he turned it, or his manager, as he tells the story, turned it down twice, and then he made Grown Ups 1 and 2.
Fucking Happy Madison.
And
Let me
this-
go on all my vacations and get all my $20 million paychecks
Right.
first, and then I'll make this
and,
movie.
and oh my god, you can tell that Adam Sandler's worked with the same crews for the last decade,
Yeah.
because even just seeing him shot in a different style pulls you out of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Like, he's not Adam Sandler in this movie.
Because he basically, for the most part, plays the same character
Yeah.
in a lot of his films.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And like Howard Ratner, that's a different person.
Yeah.
Like, that is, and it's in the performance. It's in just seeing him in a different shooting style helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's like Robin Williams' last 5 movies were all looking the same, and it's like his last memorable visage, I guess. It was like 5 movies previous, not
Yeah.
even his most recent stuff. Yeah, just seeing him in a different shooting style, the performance, like his accent falters in a couple scenes, and even with that, I still was like, way more engaged with him than I was with Joker. And like not to poo-poo Joaquin Phoenix's performance.
Yeah.
Those two are probably like top 2 performances of the year.
Interesting.
But I think just because I know Phoenix can do it and he's going to do it well,
Yeah.
makes me appreciate Adam Sandler doing it at that level.
Yeah, I mean, it is to be more expected with Phoenix. I mean, like, once we saw the announcement, I was like, that's going to be different, but I can see what he can do with it.
Yeah.
Sandler, like, wait, what? Like, it's very confusing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You're so used to fucking Jack and Jill and, like you said, the grown-ups films,
Yeah.
Pixels, like, everything in the last decade blended, you know, all that horse shit. Like, just call the movies what they are. Adam Sandler goes to Africa. Adam Sandler goes to Hawaii. That was 51st States. And wherever else he went. But yeah, that's what a lot of those movies are.
Oh, yeah.
And for the most part, he doesn't really play any other characters aside from the man-child.
Yeah.
Or unless he's doing like a caricature, like Jill and Jack and Jill and Zohan, you know, shit like that. So, but Uncut Gems, he is playing someone that's not Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Yep.
But not a caricature.
I
From
think
what I can tell, at least.
if I had to assume, what I assume is he got on set after he said yes to this and saw a bunch of like underappreciated like guerrilla warfare filmmakers and went, oh shit, I'm in the trenches and I need to like pull it out.
Yeah.
Because there is a version of this movie that's corny and cheesy and
I'm sure.
like oh shit, what's the Jeff Goldblum's dad in Independence Day, that actor,
Judd Hirsch.
yes, he plays Adam Sandler's dad or grandfather, I didn't catch which, in this movie,
Jesus.
in a very Jewish family, and it's all like, oh yeah, that's I know Jewish families like that, as compared to any other time Adam Sandler has to be Jewish and it's like,
Oh my god.
hey, we're Jewish.
I mean, I know Sandler actually is Jewish, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, no, he does the caricature of his own
Yeah,
culture.
Exactly.
Whereas this movie is like, no, that's what they look like in New York. Like
yeah.
they have like a normal Passover dinner and
Yeah.
like they interact in like the genuine way those families interact.
Yeah.
And Judd Hirsch is probably the second best character in the movie besides Lakeith Stanfield.
I actually didn't even know Judd Hirsch was in it, so.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't either until he showed up and I was like, the casting was like, this feels like a joke, but it's being presented very sincerely
Yeah.
and it's just sincere.
Definitely.
And I haven't
Nice.
even ruined any of the plot, and I'm proud of myself for it.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, go see Uncut Gems
Yeah,
and not Six Underground, even though you're already paying to see Six Underground. And Uncut
That's
Gems,
true.
you will
That's
have to make a
totally
trip to
true.
the theater to see.
Yes.
And yep,
Yeah.
Six Underground. Put
Okay, so in favor of avoiding talking about Six Underground anymore, question:
yes,
have you seen and what did you guys actually think of The Mandalorian?
I've seen half of it so far. I haven't seen the full season. I've seen the first 4 episodes.
then you've seen
Okay.
one of the 3 best episodes.
Well, shit. I got 2 more to go then. Out of the 4 remaining.
Yeah.
Cool.
My thoughts on it are, please bring someone else in to write the dialogue, please, because the dialogue is understandably going for like 1960s, 70s samurai movies, but every character, if you remove their voice and character, is saying the same things. That's my big complaint, honestly, of the whole thing. It's just like, characters say exactly what they mean in exactly the same tones, and then
Yeah.
Bill Burr comes in at some point and like he is the most interesting character in the series. Also, the Bostonian accent exists in Star Wars now. Canon,
Didn't we already get that in the Star Wars Holiday Special?
probably.
Whatever accent Art Carney had, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Probably. Yeah, I think episodes 4, 6, and 8 are the best 3.
Okay, so New Hope, Return of the Jedi, and Last Jedi. Got it.
Yeah.
Get it? It's an episode joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tumbleweeds. Crickets.
I'm sure they got it. I'm
Whether they
sure.
wanted it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
As we've grown in disappointment.
Yep.
4, 6, and 8 are the best ones to me. 4, I guess, since you have seen it,
Yes.
because of the ATST.
Oh yeah,
Shooting
yeah.
that like Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
the best decision
Yeah.
I've ever seen made.
Was it you that said that they actually made them scary?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like when I saw that episode, it's like, oh yeah, no, I get what you mean.
yeah. They're frightening.
like they have red eyes, pretty much.
and Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode. Yeah,
yeah, we should have just let her direct Solo.
the
Do a better
wrong
job there.
Howard got Solo.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Lord and Miller should have directed Solo. Yeah.
Although it does make me wonder, not to cut you off, but like with the success of The Mandalorian and the 50-50 of Rise of Skywalker, do you think someone at Disney/Disney Lucasfilm is saying we need to take something from what's making The Mandalorian work and apply it to the films?
If Jon Favreau does not become the Kevin Feige of Star Wars,
Yeah.
I will eat a shoe. That's a guaranteed what's going to happen.
Why? What's Feige doing with Star Wars though? Because that was something I read about months ago. That was very vague and very weird. That
Yeah.
Feige had something to do with something in Star Wars down the road.
If I had to speculate, what that is that's groveling before the king
Yeah.
to get his Solomon wisdom input in one meeting, and then
That's
like
fair.
him fuck off.
Like, what are you doing right with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we're just dropping the ball with,
Right.
with Star Wars?
I think it was probably one meeting that got leaked and blown up to the point where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Feige's coming in. Feige's not going to take over
no,
anything.
he's got enough shit to do. I mean, he's now got X-Men Fantastic Four. He's got to figure that shit
yeah.
out.
Feige likely is going to figure those out.
Yeah.
Launch them and then dip.
Yeah.
But he's not going to go to Star Wars.
No.
Because that man has more money than God.
Yes.
He's going to start his own shit.
Sounds about right.
And then Favreau's going to take over Star Wars.
Yeah, I could see that.
As like the Feige-esque position. Kathleen Kennedy's not going to go anywhere. She's been there since fucking Empire. You imps.
True.
You fucking simpletons. She's been around since the almost goddamn beginning.
Yeah, a lot of people think that she just showed up for Force Awakens. Like, she's had more say since it went to Disney.
yeah, she
but
has a better
still.
position, but she's been
Yeah.
producing for a long time.
Yeah.
She's not going anywhere.
No.
And then I think Taika Waititi is probably going to get pushed into launching a new Star Wars thing.
Probably. I could see that.
Because his bill right now is, I'm weird, I'm eccentric, I'm really good on press junkets, and I can take an idea and add something to it.
And I will have been the only one to have directed more than one Thor movie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's my predictions. Devin, what do you think of The Mandalorian?
Honestly, overall, I don't have much of an opinion on it. Like, I went into it because everybody, people were loving it. It's like, oh, this is what Star Wars should be. It kind of just feels like an old Western movie to me, but like one without the exciting moments. So for the most part, it's okay. Like, I don't hate watching it. And there are definitely moments where I'm like, okay, this is like cool. But I feel like it's basically like Baby Yoda the series.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to be fair, Baby Yoda the series, probably fantastic idea, but
You're not wrong.
not how the series was built. I don't know. It kind of, to me overall, it feels like
Baby
one of those
Palpatine.
series. Like it could be really great. Like it's a great foundation.
Yeah.
But if they want a lasting series, season 2 has to like figure out like what actually makes it
Yeah.
intriguing to keep people in it.
So
Because right now it kind of just feels like a guy jumping around the galaxy, not doing a lot.
right. What they need is an Alan Tudyk. They need a
Yeah.
comedy relief, consistent character that can function as a reactionary. And again, goes back to my issue with the dialogue. Nobody's ever surprised by anything ever at all in the series.
It's like, well,
Yep.
that was bound to happen. Fucking Jawas.
Yeah, like no one's ever shocked. There's no Han Solo to go, what the fuck is going on? There's no one like that, and you need that minstrel. The Witcher did it really well in its first season with oh shit, what's the name of that minstrel character?
No, you're talking about it, even though I haven't even watched it.
Starts
yet.
with a J.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fucking all the characters have dumb names in that series, anyways. They need to put a character that can. And I really thought Taika Waititi was going to be it with IG-11, but then I was like, oh no, his face doesn't emote. So
Yeah.
he's not going to. But like nobody's faces emote, and like Gina Carrero is understandable, but she was probably the most likable character,
True.
and that's why she stuck around 100%.
Yeah.
They saw like her.
Yeah.
She said she was shocked that they didn't give her a mask.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh wait, you're actually gonna see my face?"
Yeah. Also, I want her to kill me with her thighs. So she is gonna stick around for a while, for sure, because she can emote
Yes.
something.
Actually, her acting has gotten better.
Yeah.
She used to be like super wooden.
Oh yeah.
Much better than Ronda Rousey at this point. I mean, if we're gonna go from like those who went from MMA to acting,
Yeah.
Rousey's trying, but she's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Carano, I can tell she's slowly building.
She's got that John Cena, like, we're figuring out that there's charisma there, and they just
Yeah.
need the right.
she's trying to tap into it. I mean, when
Yeah.
you see her in an interview, she's shockingly enough, as badass as she is, she's actually like pretty introverted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest difference between her and Rousey. Rousey just always seems very, I don't want to say arrogant, but like misplaced confidence.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think she thinks that she's acting better than she is.
Yeah.
It's like she had like 2 lines in Furious 7 and both of them were just clunky. Just like,
McClunky.
speaking of Star Wars, the moment I said clunky, I was like, oh, God damn it.
Here it comes.
Fucking Greedo.
Also, her in whatever that last Stallone
God damn it. Expendables 3.
Expendables. There we
The
go.
worst of the 3. Easily. Let's make this PG-13.
Thanks for that, guys.
God damn it.
Harrison Ford gets paid. I mean, I can.
Yeah,
He
because
makes
Bruce
his-
Willis wanted too much for 3 days of work. What a shock.
Harrison Ford makes his money.
So Expendables 4, we're going to get Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the son of Mr. Church.
No, just Mr. Church. He just de-aged.
That's right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So let's fix Mandalorian real quick. We can do it. It doesn't need a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't need. It's got a great foundation
Yeah.
of like ideas. The whole concept is like, oh, this is a great way to run a long show. It's just it's missing charisma.
My pitch: put Bill Burr in all of it. I'm not kidding. He plays. You haven't seen the episode yet, and this won't ruin anything. But he plays a ex-Imperial sharpshooter,
Okay.
and at one point, he doesn't say fucking, but he might as well should have. Where he goes, I wasn't a fucking stormtrooper, is the energy that he's trying to like emulate. He wasn't a stormtrooper. He was a sharpshooter. He was good at what he did.
Yeah.
He has this like shoulder gun that kind of reminds me of Predator.
I was just about to say, like, the moment you said that. Like,
yeah.
oh, like Predator.
He's really cool. He's really cool. And his reactions are Han Solo-esque to everything.
Interesting.
Where it's
Okay.
like, what the fuck, guys? Like, that was his energy through the whole thing was, how the
Yeah.
fuck am I here? Also, what the fuck is going on? And that energy, you need that because our main hero shows his face one time.
Spoiler alert.
Is that a spoiler?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we know who's playing him?
I mean, I do, but
So that's what he looks like. Shocker.
we're not supposed to know that anybody actually sees his face.
I
I'm
won't
pretty
tell
sure
you the
it was all over
situation.
social, so
Yeah,
That's-
I won't.
okay,
I won't
fine.
tell you the situation. The
Okay.
situation makes it acceptable.
Okay.
But anyways, if our main character can't emote, and the source material that they're running from is from non-emotive protagonists, it makes sense.
Yes.
But the advantage was a lot of those characters had side characters to be the audience going,
yeah.
"What?"
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm 100% honestly, if this just, like, kind of turned into, like, Firefly but Star Wars, I wouldn't be mad.
That's
Like, I
they're
feel like that-
almost there.
I got that vibe already.
Yeah.
They're almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By season 2,
Yeah, that-
probably.
If Nathan Fillion shows up in season 2,
Ugh.
I'd be fine with it.
I mean, Disney
I-
owns Firefly at this point, if you
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
it. They
Also-
just have him showing up
Yeah.
in the garb.
Also, Alan Tudyk is in the Star Wars universe, so like, might as well. The most charismatic character of Rogue One.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
I like
True.
Rogue One, by the
True.
way.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
shitting
will
on
watch anything that man is in.
it. Yeah, for real. Yeah. really, that's it. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that it was slow. I like the long pacing.
Yeah.
I like all the fucking Mandalorian backstory shit. That was my favorite
Yep.
part of Rise of Skywalker. Lore in the background, all the Sith shit in Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, yeah, give me more of that. Mandalorian stuff in this, I'm like, yeah, give me more of that.
Give us the JJ cut.
192 minutes.
Oh my god. But hey, versus the 220 minutes of the Snyder cut or whatever it was.
232.
Jesus H Christ. Coming soon to HBO Max.
Yeah,
Maybe.
for real. Probably.
I did love your argument about it. It's like, no, these are all the reasons why it's going to happen. And then we just need Jesse to sit here and go, it's still going to suck.
No, yeah, those weren't arguments for why it's going to be good
Exactly.
or why it should happen. It was just arguments for why, no, this is happening.
Exactly, yeah. No. Will it be better? Well, it'll probably feel more like it's directed by one person. So there's that.
You could tell Michael Bay directed all of Six Underground.
You're not wrong. For better, for worse. I'm going to say worse.
I'm going to say worse.
Oh, God.
Written by Rhett Reese. Dude, you're really good at writing. What the fuck happened here?
Yeah, I looked at his credits too. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What? Why?
Although he did write one of the movies that Devin really didn't like when we started this podcast. You remember Life?
Yep. Unfortunately.
When I first read that, I was like, the Eddie Murphy movie? And I was like, oh, no, wait, the one that people thought was a Venom movie. Or
Yep.
something like that.
Movie that was
yeah.
trying to be Alien and Venom all at the same time.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Anybody who went to see that movie and then left going like, oh, it's Venom. Guys, come on.
Was
Yeah.
it because it had stock footage that was used in both that and Amazing Spider-Man 2 or something like that?
Yeah, it was like
Like
it was
people
like
holding
a,
out their cell
a
phones.
audience cutaway.
Yeah.
But also spoilers for Life. The final shot is of a pod landing in the Pacific with a bunch of tentacle-esque space cum inside of this pod that was like, oh, that looks like a symbiote. It didn't, but I mean,
No.
go off.
Oh, God, it's another Cloverfield movie, but you didn't know it was a Cloverfield movie. I mean, that's the next step, not knowing it's a Cloverfield movie until you finished watching it.
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh.
what else can you do at this point?
Oh, Devin, Cloverfield a movie for us. Pick a movie and add a scene to the end to make it Cloverfield. I've got
Oh,
mine.
jeez. Go, because it's going to take me a second.
So, after the scene in the diner where Bruce Willis goes, his name was Mr. Glass. Cut to alien spaceship comes in.
Oh, God.
Hey, that's a better ending than actually Glass had.
You're not wrong.
Oh, we've been around for 10,000 years taking out super powered people so they can't actually happen because that's how M. Night Shyamalan that's how I pronounce his name now.
Shyamalan?
Shyamalan.
Shy.
That's what he thinks comic books are. He the fake theory from Unbreakable is his actual life philosophy. Comic books exist because superheroes used to exist, because otherwise what's the point of existing? Did I give you enough time to think of one, Devin, or should I keep going?
I mean, I have one. I don't know how good it is, but I don't even know how big a scene you might have to add. It,
Ooh.
and then just have because I honestly don't know. You know that scene where that thing where somebody asks you to think of something real quick and you forget everything.
Oh
you
yeah. Oh,
know?
absolutely. What's your
Not
favorite kind of
wrong.
music? What music do I like?
What's my
What
name?
is music? Have I listened to that before?
Did I just start existing now?
That's how it feels. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life. You could
I'm-
Cloverfield Life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even
Oh,
seen
yeah,
it. and
no,
I know
like-
you could Cloverfield
yeah.
it.
You could Cloverfield Life.
I mean,
Oh, man.
it's kind of half Cloverfield already.
oh
Yeah,
man.
I'm just trying to think of movies that I've seen the last couple of years that would.
Well, what's funny is, I was going to say this, is oh, wait, that almost actually happened. A Quiet Place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 steps away from actually being a Cloverfield film. And they're like, no. I think it might have been Krasinski who, put the kibosh on that. I could be wrong. I have to look
Yeah,
at the
I mean,
article.
I
It's very it is, I think it's also a Paramount film.
Yeah.
So, legally speaking,
It could have been.
yeah. So, because, the creature in that looks like one of the things in Clover. I mean, granted, there's a lot of different aliens in Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it could have been like the aftermath, like in this post-apocalyptic world after the events of
Right.
the first movie. It actually could have worked. So
2 years ago, this is a deep rabbit hole. 2 years ago, I was going to make a conspiracy theory YouTube video for why Mary Elizabeth Winstead
Yeah.
from 10
Yeah.
Cloverfield Lane is the protagonist from Portal. And I'm not crazy. Okay. The director of 10 Cloverfield Lane gained notoriety from his live-action short film for Portal.
interesting.
Then he was initially slated to direct a Portal film,
Okay.
starting out with a woman in a basement that needs to escape because shit's going on the surface that she doesn't know about.
Okay.
Then J.J. Abrams comes in, partners with what's the fucking guy from Steam, the Half-Life guy.
I know who you're talking about. I can see his
Him.
face, but
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Anyways, partnered with him to make a Half-Life film through Bad Robot that fell through, but then connected him to the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
okay.
At this point, they go, hey, you can't do Portal, but like, you could probably redo this script into its own thing. All right? Stay with me.
I am.
So he redoes the script into its own thing to be 10 Cloverfield Lane. Has his initial cut, and then they go, but what if you put a stinger on the end and it becomes a Cloverfield story? And then he's like, I can't say anything because this is my first movie and I'm very hogtied here. So they put the ending onto it. It's now a Cloverfield film. Then the main character leaves to go to Chicago. Now enter Half-Life, where it's called Aperture. The company from Portal
Oh yeah.
had their base in Chicago, as introduced in Half-Life. And if you need to know the connection, I'm sure there's 1,000 YouTube videos, but Portal and Half-Life are connected stories. They're happening at the same, air quotes, at the same time. She goes to Chicago to help the Resistance, but then gets pulled into the Aperture lab to then become the main protagonist in Portal. It gets better. The antagonist from 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman's character, worked for a company that exists in Portal and Half-Life that was working on a teleportation project that sent a ship to the Arctic through a portal back in the 60s or 70s or something like that. This is canon to the games.
Okay.
And while his character is not mentioned in any of the games, the company he worked for in the ARG for 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is canon, mentions this company and that he was involved with this ship that was sent to the Arctic. And that's where he met his wife, who he then fathered a child with. It gets better. His wife left him with the child to get married to the character that J.K. Simmons plays in Portal 2. The guy that started Aperture Labs, that created GLaDOS from Howard's wife from 10 Cloverfield Lane. If you don't believe me, dig into the lore and the names and the companies and the timelines. It all works out.
Jesus.
That's the short version.
That's the short version.
And without like visual aids to prove it, I
Yeah.
sound like a madman. But
I mean, the tinfoil hat you're wearing right now is not nearly as big as the audience at home might assume.
you know,
So.
it's more like a tinfoil yarmulke at this point. Yeah. So basically, the end result of that video was going to be Cloverfield is involved with Half-Life and is involved with Portal.
Oh my god.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. Thank you. That's my performance art piece for the year.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This is how we started the year off. This is the podcast to launch season
Yes.
3.
Oh man.
And you actually gave me enough time to think of a movie that I think
Thank
could make a
God.
really good Cloverfield movie, and I think you'll like it. Green Room.
Ooh.
Literally at a scene at the end where, as they're escaping, they find like a shrine, and it turns out that the skinheads are like, they pull people in and sacrifice them to the aliens in favor, to gain favor and be kept alive.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hip. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Brandon, I hope you were thinking of one
Yep.
while I was talking too.
Cabin in the Woods.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you got to talk about, killing people for making a sacrifice, there you go.
Does that make Cloverfield more meta by them having monsters from like other media that like maybe the aliens created monsters from our own media to scare people in the Cabin in the Woods situation?
That works.
Also, the monsters from Left 4 Dead are in one of the shots of Cabin in the Woods, the boomer and the tank specifically. And Left 4 Dead canonically is connected to the Portal
God damn it!
and Half-Life series. Because they're made by Valve and they made connections within the games. And basically what I'm saying is you're actually right. Brandon has left. This is probably a good place to end the podcast. My tinfoil hat grew 2 sizes.
It did.
Guys, I had a fucking...
If they ever release a Portal movie, we're going to have a 4-hour podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
Guaranteed.
I
Speaking
think
of 4-hour podcast,
Exactly.
tune in next week
Oy.
for Man of Steel.
Thank you, Jesse, in advance.
I love you, Jesse. I'm not going to love you after this podcast, but currently I love you. Also, very excited to hear your thoughts on the Final Fight episode, because that's wow, what an episode. Basically our next, I think 4, like there's going to be a run of 4 or 5 episodes in a row that are over 2 hours.
We were recording for quite a while on that one.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah, this is a good place to end. Thanks for entering the new year with us. If you'd like to be on the show, you can be on the show.
Yes.
Brandon can, because he's invited all the time, because he's on staff. But you, the listener listening right now, could be on the show. If you email filmrescueshow@gmail.com with a movie that you'd like to fix and a pitch for how to fix it, we will bring you on the show via Skype, via phone, via SOS, Morse code,
via hologram.
We'll get you on this show to pitch that movie to us. You can also hit us up at Film Rescue Show on Twitter, if you'd prefer, to message us like a normal person. That's not a mean joke, right? Just like, we get more interactions on Twitter is all I'm saying here. Anybody that emails, you're fine, I promise. Also, we have a Patreon, Montressor Media, patreon.com/Montressor Media. That's what I was trying to say. Where for $1 you can get access to extended episodes, projects we've been working on. I'm going to put a music video up that I created on there if you want to pay $1 to see it, I guess. It's also on YouTube, but I'm not going to tell you where. This is a really bad ARG. Yeah, that's the spot. Devin, anything else you want to add?
No, I think we have covered it, and I am as burnt out as I think I've been on a podcast in a long time.
Yeah, we really went for it. I drank a lot on this one too.
What were you drinking, by the way?
New Amsterdam orange vodka.
Really?
Here's why. Do you remember Orange Coke?
Yes.
I really liked it.
Okay.
But I also wanted to get drunk drinking it. And so I just have been combining this with regular Coke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't look orange.
Nope.
That
It is
explains
very brown. One last thing. Do not rate us on Apple. Don't do it. We have a perfect 5 stars. I don't want to ruin that. Don't leave a review. Don't rate us. Whatever you do.
Oh, man.
Don't be honest about how you feel about the show.
The wrong kind of reverse psychology.
If you hated Last Jedi, definitely don't rate us.
What?
Leave us alone. Guys, we're good. I promise. 9 ratings of 5 stars is all I need. Looks great on my resume. I have a 5-star rated podcast.
There you
go. Apple. That's all. Six Underground. Fuck that movie, guys. We're going to do better next time. Literally, Jesse read a whole book in preparation for Man of Steel, so
oh, jeez.
There's a real pitch coming. Make Ryan Reynolds a bad guy. Stop working with Michael Bay. These are the lessons from this episode.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to hate on a movie and you're ready to start like.
If you really must watch an original film on Netflix, watch Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh, so good.
Just watch that instead,
So
please,
good.
God.
If you're okay with lots of cussing and
Yes.
titties and racism and probably other stuff that you're opposed to.
It's R-rated for a reason.
Yeah, it's rated R.
You know, and it's inspired by films that are also rated R, so.
Yeah, probably films that should have gotten an X at some points. Yeah.
It's always kind of hard to tell, like, what would have caused an R or an X depending on, like, when they came out.
Yeah, true.
Like, things like, oh, that wouldn't be R today. That'd be PG-13. And then some here, like, or R back then are like, how would that not be NC-17 now?
Right.
So it was all over the board. It really just came down. It's like, I think the MPAA most times, like, 6 or 12 people in the room.
Hey, the MPAA is a terribly outdated institution and should be dissolved.
Just release all movies with no rating.
No. Release movies with, like, statements of, hey, here's what's in the movie. Hey.
I mean, to be fair, people don't pay attention to them anyway. Why do you think there's so many angry parents 4 years ago when Deadpool came out? Like, oh, it's the Marvel movie. It should be fine. No, there's a rating there for a reason. There's a rating there for a reason.
Right.
Oh, no, this is not PG-13.
People aren't rating them anyways. We don't need the MPAA.
Yeah.
Make decisions for yourself, sheeple. Damn it, I said sheeple on the first podcast of the year. Somebody cut me off.
Go home. Oh, you are home. Never mind. I'll go home.
Make another Sony Spider-Man. That's how we end this one. Devin, thanks for being here.
I wish I could say I enjoyed it.
The podcast or the movie?
Yes.
All of it. Just all of it.
Toodles.
Brandon, thanks for being here.
Always.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Guys, I'm realizing in season 3 that this was probably like a great idea for a show that really punishes the people involved.
I miss watching good movies. It was 10:30 last night. I'm like, shit, I still need to watch this movie.
Have you seen Uncut Gems, though?
We've established that already.
The end. I just wanted one more excuse to talk about Uncut Gems. Go see Uncut Gems. Tell ya, guys. Bye.